Off we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for Division S. In Europe, the Vikings against Laubers Fanclub, ladies and gentlemen. Best of 5 series. And an interesting one. I mean, we have so far the Vikings with only a single victory in Division S Season 2. They took down Pepe My Lady, and it was a pretty rough battle. It was a 3-0 victory in the last map, obviously. And yeah, it was rough. But the fan club, they haven't dropped a single match yet, and so this is going to be a series where there's a lot on the line here. The fan club is obviously in a position where they want to establish themselves all the way up at the top together with Washed Up, and then have that battle between the two teams for the season championship again. Whereas the Vikings have the potential for sure to make it all the way to the top, but they were in for a rough start at the beginning of the season, and that has made things a bit more difficult. If they now lose to the fan club too, and don't at least take a couple of maps, that would be really bad for their standing within the rankings. So even losing to the fan club might be that much of a deal, as long as they win a few maps in the process. But they are definitely a team that have the tools and also the talent to put the fan club into a rough spot and maybe even win the series. So we're going to find out where exactly they're headed with this, but as we're jumping into this, the Vikings at this point, with the ban on Zeratul, Tai on the other side, fantastic Zeratul player, him and I would say Dino, probably the two best Zeratools that we currently have in Europe. Then the Mephisto ban, not so because it's like the best hero in the game, but Maka loves to play that hero, and in Infernal Shrines we've seen him do that multiple times, so they ban it out, targeting Maka. Zarya gets also banned since Svamgrotta has been playing the hero a lot, and the red team actually plays a lot around compositions that evolve with like Vala plus Zarya, for example. They do the lot on Battlefield of Eternity, we've seen it on Infernal Shrines, and here comes the Deathwing ban, which is pretty much the obligatory ban in Europe. Deathwing, as I said several times now in the past, has maybe made it through the draft twice in Europe, where he wasn't banned out. And in one of those games, it was more sort of a meme game, because one team was so massively ahead over the opponent that it was just a little bit of a fun game. But yeah, Deathwing, it's just European teams, even after the nerfs, are just saying, no, not happening. And it's one of the big differences between the North American meta and the European meta, of course. So Malfurion still makes it in as the first pick here. Good control, of course, over all of those angles where you can approach the shrine. But that gives Lauber ETC and Svamgrotta Junkrat. Yeah, Svamgrotta and his Junkrat, that's definitely always a really nice setup for him. And, well, ETC for Lauber. ETC is actually one of the first heroes that Lauber made a name for himself, which is kind of fun. So he was the ETC player back then, together with Breeze. And now, as it stands, we have the double pick for the Vikings. By the way, question's gonna pop up. Burger is apparently the Smurf account of Backhult. Typical Backhult hero now also being picked here, Johanna. Not only typical hero for him, this is not the only reason, but this is of course one of the best maps for Johanna these days. Maybe next to, I would say, Tomb of the Spider Queen, probably. I mean, generally speaking, she is just an all-around good hero on most maps. But on Infernal Shrines and also Tomb of the Spider Queen, that wave clear that she provides is even more impactful. And here, of course, it affects the shrine itself too. And they're targeting Maka with the bans. So they're a bit worried that Maka might actually jump on Tracer here and try to take that backline apart. That's why Tracer gets now banned out too. It's something that you see on the higher level. If you actually know your opponent's team fairly well and you can do research on them and what kind of compositions they play on certain maps, or just generally speaking what heroes they prefer, then you can target an individual player and eliminate the heroes that you feel are the most impactful or maybe just the most annoying to you, and that's what they're doing here. So Leora gets banned. No rotation on the wave clear. Blaze still up. So that's definitely something that we should see Blaze in this game. By either one of the teams. I'm pretty sure the Vikings would be happy about a Blaze pick too. But the fan club can definitely now lock him in as well if they want to. A couple of other offlaners are still fantastic here. I mean, in theory, you can even go again for a Mephisto pick, which we've now seen a few times, not only in this map, but also in Dragonshire. But there's Blaze, Anna together with that. Tai still hasn't taken a hero. The only thing that I'm really waiting for is that Tai actually jumps onto Ophir again at some point. We haven't really seen her in Division S. Yeah, for a long time, even Season 1, I don't really remember when exactly Ophir was played the last time. These days, when you look at mages on Infernal Shrines, we have seen Kel'Thas a little bit more often, but of course the idea would more so Jaina, and then you have Gul'dan too. Rexa gets picked together with that. I think we had one game with Li Ming. She didn't really have that much of an impact though. Li Ming not the typical mage to be picked on this map. Jaina is a little bit more common in that role. Kelthas makes sense too, depending on team and preference. But Ty in particular, he actually liked Ophir. But these days we don't see her played anymore. She's a little bit slower now. She gets weighed down by carrying HGC around in that coffin of hers. So that makes her a little bit slower, not really that bad of a pick anymore. But Vala is still up. Vala has also that wave clear, and therefore Vala gets taken. And with this, we're heading into game number 1. Infernal Shrines, ladies and gentlemen. Map 1 between the Vikings and Laubers Fanclub in this best of 5 series. Let's jump straight in. Game on, ladies! Infernal Shrines, map number 1, and on the left side, the Vikings with Mako and Gul'dan, Skok and Malfurion, Max Passion on Rexa, we have Burger on Johanna, Gia on Hanzo, and towards the right side of the map, Laubers Fanclub at this point with Swamp Grotta on Junkrat, Ty on Vala, Copenhagen on Blaze, Henning on Anna, and Lauber on ETC. As we're heading into this game, also a little bit of a public service announcement. I talked previously in videos already about Patreon, and that the spoiler protection for now is actually gone because I tied it to a milestone goal on Patreon, since the ad revenue on the channel dropped pretty heavily. But also with that, I introduced a couple of tiers on Patreon. And there's a lot of people that actually supported me even before that on the website, and for some reason Patreon does actually not assign you directly to a tier if you fall into that category, so you have to do that manually. I can't do it unfortunately either. So everybody that currently supports me already on Patreon, please check that out, have a look at your messages, you might have one there as well, and just assign yourself to a tier. It's pretty much just one click, but you have to do it manually. The website itself doesn't automatically account for that. And of course, if you want to support the work, if you also want to help to bring the spoiler protection and other things back, then check it out. There is a link in the YouTube description. If you're watching this on Twitch, there's also a panel in the Twitch description, or you can just go to patreon.com/Khaldor. With that said, we're heading in our first game with pretty much traditional talents. There's no big surprises here. We have again a multi-shot bid for Vala, as we usually see. We also see in this case actually the Laws of Hope. It's still 2 talents that you actually ping-pong in between. You have Hold Your Ground and you have Laws of Hope, so both of them are actually quite impactful. And depending on the playstyle, the composition that you play with, and your personal preference, are very good. So it's a little bit more common these days to go into Hold Your Ground and play through the cooldown, but having the self-sustain here on a hero like Johanna is also kind of nice when you have the Laws of Hope in action. There's big discussions on like lots of forums and boards of which talent is better, and obviously people play theory craft 6 days to Sunday, but at the end of the day, all the theory sometimes just goes to hell once the actual game starts. So both talents very impactful, very strong, very good, and can both be taken. Ah, nice pull. That was actually nicely done. And that was nearly a kill. That would have been kind of funny if Swamgoda actually walks away with that solo kill against Hanzo. Not quite what happened, but he was close, and he did that multiple times in the past. It's one of the reasons why we actually see the hero banned out against Swamgoda quite regularly. With Swamgoda and a few of the other players, it's honestly just one of those things where you want to ban 15 heroes because you have some specialists on all these sides. I mean, Ty is playing a lot of Vala, and his heroes get heavily attacked in the draft over and over. You saw the Zeratul ban, for example, coming through as the first ban. Then you have Zarya and Junkrat from Swamp Grota. Not the only heroes that he plays by any means, but those two are highly impactful, and he usually has a huge impact with it. Especially, of course, as we could just see with that mine and pushing a hero into a really, really bad spot. There's a cam already. This one timed a little bit later so that they can actually defend now before the objective is activated, and then have their own cam push through the top lane. And the blue team then has only 2 options. Either they can go into the objective and fight a 5 versus 5 battle and let the camp do some work at the top, or they can stay topside a little bit longer to defend against the Shaman camp, which will mean that they have to give up the position on the shrine and maybe drop the Punisher against their opponent. But for now, at least, the Vikings with a pretty decent lead, looking at 16 stacks and good damage also from Macke against ETC. Yeah, they're actually walking away with a massive lead here. And Burger, aka Backhult on Johanna, is currently zoning them out. But with 32 stacks already, this should be a given that we have it dropping into the hands of the blue team. Red team is on the run, there's the kill, that's first blood. Malfurion dies too. Gia jumps out, but either way, that's a nice setup. But they want to go for the kill and the power slide, and Tai locks down the target. Copenhagen is kept alive, and now we see Hanzo fall too. Holy hell. The Protector, or the Punisher, is actually taken, but it doesn't even matter. This is incredible. This is honestly incredible. The red team loses the fight, or well, loses the Punisher, and then goes in and drops 4 targets, 4 heroes, and is able to limit the damage that the Punisher dishes out and gets themselves as solidly thanks to all of the experience that they gather through the hero kills. Nicely done. And Tai obviously absolutely popping off, but you have to admire also the way that they stunned these, and that they changed these stuns. First with ETC sliding through with the jet propulsion. I mean, that was just beautiful. Now we have level 7 talents on both sides. Cooldown reduction for Johanna on level 7 now also incoming. And with another slide, they're trying to go for Marke. And that was nearly a pullback. Actually, that was even messed up a bit, but they still get the kill. The kill is in, but Vala is dead too. It's a brawl, ladies. It's an absolute brawl at this moment in time. But what a game. Yeah, and you could see there was a little bit of a mess up between Lauber and between Swampgotta. The target was killed anyways, but the idea here was, of course, that Lauber went through with the power slide and Swampgotta provided the mine to just jump Gul'dan straight into the team. But then the face mail came in and just barely pushed him out of range, so the mine wasn't even activated. That didn't quite mesh, but it didn't matter too much because Vala was there anyways to deliver the kill, and that was no problem then. Now we have Strafe also with a nano boost as an option. ETC with a mosh pit. 18 stacks, by the way, on ETC. 19 now. He's gonna complete this quest. He's done. 5 minutes, 40 seconds, and he's actually done with this quest. So really, really nice for Lauber on ETC to have Prog Rock now completed. They're all starting to slide in again to see if they can maybe interrupt someone. Get the kill here. Yeah, that's potential kill against Jojo. Waiting out the move. There's the Riptire. Push back. That's a kill. That's a kill. Oh, it should be. Whoa, Strafe. Blessed Shield interrupts it. No way. Oh, back hold, you monster. Wow. I can't believe that he made it out there. That was incredible. The Riptire put him back into the team, and he really, really needed everything that he had in order to survive this. And the Blessed Shield interrupting the Strafe was the saving grace for him. If that's not available to him, or if he misses it, then he's dead. But yeah, it worked out, and there's a lot of cooldowns that got, of course, burned on both sides. So in we go. Well, let's have a bit of a look there of how this is going to pan out. Top side, that's where Rexa pushes it out again. We have Gul'dan already working on the camp. 13 stacks on Rexa on his level 4, so he's working on the extra armor that he's going to grab. And everybody else is just waiting for rotations. They are really homing in on Gia down here. Gia is he sides? No, okay. Yeah, Gia is just like sitting there and saying like, yeah, I'm not rotating up. If I don't have vision on anybody, I'm not gonna come in from a rotation. At least not the direct way, because I'm not gonna get locked down by you guys and get killed there within a second. The next shrine is also activating at the bottom of the map, which means the shaman camps are going to be more impactful in theory and could even threaten one of the forts topside. So teams are currently starting to posture around the spot. Blue team already grabbing theirs, red team delaying theirs slightly, which of course means that we have the Vikings on the shrine again a little bit quicker, so that they can take the lead here. Last time it backfired after they took the Punisher itself. The Fanclub was just there with the combo. This time it might be different. This is with heroic abilities, and that's always a game changer, especially with Gul'dan and the Horrify. They're already zoning this, but look at that lead. 26 against 2. It's incredible. They're really using all the AoE that they have. Jet propulsion and the bunker. They zone them heavily. But I just don't see a world in which this is not getting soaked. And now the Blessed Shield and the Horrify to drop Blaze. Voila! Hanzo's arrow dropping her out of strafe. Still surviving, thanks to Henning in particular. But guys, this is a kill against the red team, and all of a sudden we're having that Punisher claimed. I gotta give it to the Vikings. Despite the fact that they lost a few heroes after they claimed objective number 1, they're starting to look better and better here. I mean, just look at this. They're pushing them back as we speak. This fort is going to fall, and they are already pushing so far behind it that they are hoping that they can even get a kill. 13 talents are ready for both teams simultaneously. But the Fan Club is by no means looking like the clear favorite here. I mean, not even close. Raxa has taken top position in the meantime and is pushing the camp out again. But the entire situation here is one where the Vikings are actually way more dangerous in these 5 versus 5 fights that we're currently seeing here. Okay, in they come again. Ooh, Vala, what the hell? Tempered by Discipline here by Tai. That's a strange pick for him. I mean, at this point, it feels like he needs a little bit of extra sustain, and he's obviously one of the players that has insane mechanics, so he is at least in a position where he's going to get value out of it. But we rarely see that. Usually it's all about... oh, there's the kill against Blaze. Usually it's all about Gloom. So it's a bit of a surprise to actually see him going that. I would really like to know if that's maybe even a misclick. We had a couple of misclicks just recently. If he wants to go for the extra sustain, that is going to help him, no doubt. Oftentimes, especially on lower level players, it's an absolutely wasted talent because they are nowhere near on the mechanics that they need to actually get value out of the talent in a fight situation. But right now with Tai, it's a bit of a different story. Gloom's still the preferred talent to usually be taken by Vala players because you can dodge out on so much damage that can be pushed on you. And even the passive is really, really nice. Now we have 5 against 4 kills. And the pressure from the Vikings is just incredible. They've taken down 2 forts already. And they're level ahead now, which means we could see the early level 16 for them. And they even tried to make the play for the top fort. So this is looking quite good for them. They're in a really solid position here. I mean, they're now snacking down to the bottom of the map to try and take down the next camp. And get a bit more of a lead here, which they currently do. So that's already good. But, yep, off we go. Down here, another quick shot. Trying to take the minion wave down. Talking about taking waves down, let's have a little bit of a look at the damage output. Vala ahead, 22,000 for her now. Junkrat sitting at 20k, so it's not too far behind, but it's Hanzo that is trying to chase them. But this is dangerous now. 16 talents, you don't really want to posture there at this point. 16 talents are just really, really impactful. Forcing a fight now would be the absolute dream of the Vikings. And they have feigned death, so more survivability. And let's not forget about the Ruinous Affliction here either. Now, they don't really have Gul'dan stacked on level 1 yet, so his Echoed Corruption isn't ready. He's sitting at 26 stacks, which puts him into an okay position. But by no means is he going to have the full damage potential that he can later get. But I like the way that they were actually following up with a Horrify on stuns. It was either the Hanzo Arrow or the Johanna Blessed Shield that led to Horrifys being used in isolating heroes like Blaze. It was really, really nice. But, yep, with that, we now have the Shrine activated mid lane, which also means that the Punisher is going to push for keep already if they can grab it. So, 16 and there we go. Frost Shot again. We've seen this a few times now. On this map, great, and it also keeps Vala at a bit more of a safer distance. And it's definitely something that is going to help them a lot here. Blaze using the jet propulsion to get away in the top lane. Good call, good choice. There's a heavy rotation towards him. So that could have been a kill. Talking about potential kills, there's already ETC sliding in from behind. Riptide will zone them out. Bit of damage against Gia. A bit more aggressive around the spot this time around. But there's tranquility and they keep everybody in play. And the damage output against Lauber forces the cow back, so ETC is already on the retreat as everybody else is starting to go straight in for those minions. And that means that the Vikings have now once again a massive, massive lead. Vala trying to get the kill against Hanzo, not quite working out. 30 stacks against 11. Jojo, if she walks in again, has a nice spot there. And Hanzo's still firing from the outside. That's kind of the job of Junkrat too, but Hanzo way more effective with this. And that's the Horrify, and ETC is down. ETC down, and that's another Punisher take. And Arrow comes in, short distance, short stun. And they can't follow up with the second kill, or can they? Tai is low. He wanted the kill against Gia, didn't get it, and that should be the end. Moonfire. Don't tell me he actually gets away from this. You can run, baby, but you cannot hide. Nope, 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 nope. Are you kidding me? Okay. Please. That would have been too good if he would actually been able to take down Malfurion. But without the support, the fight is now for the keep. And guys, again, there's 2 heroes missing. One of them the main damage dealer, so that keep is definitely toast. The keep goes down, and this is it. for the keep. And Malfurion comes in and just drops the Tranquility and says like, boys, I'm here. I'm finally here. But he's a bit too late to help Gul'dan out, and now he himself might actually fall, but the keep is obviously gone. They're still trying to get the kill here. Blessed Shield from Berghult did not connect, and that means that ETC can still chase down Malfurion. And that's a kill. Oh, is it? He dodges out on this. There's another stun coming in. Malf on the run. No, he's gonna fall. Yeah, the sleeping dart puts an end to it. For just a second, I thought he might be able to make it. The fort has been claimed, by the way. So the Shaman camp has actually taken the fort down. But if you look at experience, there's obviously still the massive lead that we currently see for the blue team. So in experience, they're way ahead. They have the better structural position by far. And the fan club is just in trouble. This is game 1 of the best of 5, and normally we'd talk about the fan club being the massive favorite, but up to this point, the Vikings have just played the better game, generally speaking. They are behind in kills, though. They are behind in kills, and currently they lost a bit of the map pressure that they had in control because they lost the hero. Now, Gul'dan isn't done yet either. He's sitting at 32 stacks. So, off we go. Mid lane is where everybody is just like dancing around now, but is of course also waiting for level 20 to drop. And for the next objective to be announced, ideally. At least, when you're a fan of the Vikings here, the faster it spawns, the better for them. Just simply because they can then fight with a huge talent advantage over their opponent. But the fan club, again, is also just one level short, so there's still a chance for them to make a play. But now we have Kill Command, Serenity, also, Hound. And they're starting to set this up. And for Jojo, Radiant in Faith, quite the normal pick. Or Indestructible, both viable. Pressure against the fort. There's a lot of damage on it, pretty much for free. Oh, ETC, are they willing to drop a Horrify here? No. Not quite. But they really dropped the hit points on the fort itself. And again, this is a talent advantage. Indestructible for Johanna. No Radiating Faith in this game. Everybody's just dancing around. And they can't fight here. They can posture, but they can't really fight. So the fort is down. So the last fort has fallen. The keep in the middle is obviously still gone. Can't rebuild that shit. That would be a new hero. Can rebuild structures. There's your heroic for you. The shrine is announced. Half a level is missing for level 20 for the red team. That's manageable. That's actually manageable. Especially with the mid lane pressuring. So they can take this one. They're having Blaze soaking bot side. That's definitely going to be a situation where they can fight 20 versus 20. So they have another chance. The fan club isn't done yet. There's the fortified bunker, Farflight Quiver. They have the range now. And this is going to be the battle. Likely the battle for game. At least if the Vikings win it. So let's see if they can. Laubers is already aggressively posturing and coming in from the side here. Jet propulsion did not connect with anything. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. Fortified bunker. Oh, the backline, the arrow. Oh, that's a kill, isn't it? No, Tai. Tai is actually alive. Nano boost on him, and Tai is still in play. How the hell? But Anna is in trouble, and they're nearly getting the kill against Berghult. Unfucking-believable. Oh, fuck me. 4-man mosh pit, and they kill 3. They kill 4, and they're trying to go for Gia. Anna nearly gets Hanzoed. How the hell? Like, seriously, what just happened here? Are you kidding me? First it looked like Bala was down 100%, then a second later it seemed like Anna would die for sure. And then we go in, both of them survive, we have a 4-man mosh and 4 heroes die. This is insane. Gia dies, the arrow follows, and guys, they're gonna end this, aren't they? This is insane! How is this happening? You gotta be kidding me. It's the one mosh that Lauber gets through and it hits 4 heroes. And both of the other heroes surviving earlier was just incredible in and of itself already. But this is game. The fan club with a 1-0 lead against the Vikings. What an incredible first map here at Division S Europe. Unbe-fucking-lievable. Game number 2. I still don't quite know how to describe that last game or how it ended, but I gotta admit that, like, midway through the game, I was thinking a few times back into series that we had previously, and I was like, well, we had the fan club in a situation like this before, and then they somehow came back into it, and then I thought, yeah, it's not gonna happen yet. That map's over, that's done with. And then Vala survives after she gets chased down hard. They turn on Anna, she survives too. Johanna is in trouble, and all of a sudden Lauber comes in from the side and drops the monster mosh pit and is actually able to keep everybody in play, get his team in a perfect position to get, I think, four kills. And they made it happen, so I don't know what to say. The fan club seemed a bit unbeatable there. I would have put all my money on them losing the map, but nope, they take it again. Now we're on the second map for Skya Foundry. Here's the ban on Mephisto once more, so that the Vikings aren't able to pick it up with Make. Even Rexa gets banned out. Obviously a hero that we see a lot here too. And you guessed it, Deathwing is banned. Next question would be what happens to Zeratul. Because theoretically, we could see Zeratul banned out again if they really, really are that afraid of Tai. They banned him last time. I mean, they took him away last time and they take him away again. A little bit too afraid for the backline to be totally demolished by Tai. Tai has to prove himself a little bit now that he has actually competition in Europe when it comes to the Zeratul players, ever since Dino appeared on the scene in Division S. It's a little bit of a concern. Malfurion. Okay, there we have our quick pick into the support again. And what else? We're gonna head it from here. Especially the question, of course, what are we gonna get for Make? Make in particular, that would be the big one to answer. With Malfurion picked, by the way, as a level 1 choice, there is now a chance that we're actually gonna see Tracer played by Tai on this map. Not saying it's gonna happen, but there's a chance. Li Ming. Alright, Li Ming is in, and together with that we see Anna, so Nano Boost is going to be ready. And, well, moment of truth a little bit. Well, not necessarily, could still be played later. We could start things off with Junket, for example, again. But they get the Zarya set up together with Garrosh. Now that Zarya isn't banned out immediately, here we go. Swamp with Zarya, Garrosh played by Lauber. We get the speed barrier on, speed bubble on level 4. Garrosh runs in, gets the flip, and off we go. But at least they ban out Vala, because Vala benefits from all that speed in the bubble in general, of course, quite a lot too. Playing it safe there. Which puts Tai in a position where he could still, in theory, play another hero like Tracer for the auto attacks, but I mean, anything is fine right now. There's the Johanna ban. That makes sense too. Blaze still up as a side laner, just saying, so he's always nice in these positions. Generally speaking on Volskaya, you want to have heroes that have a lot of sustain on the point. That helps. It's one of the reasons why Jojo is good here. Rexa with Misha is of course fantastic in that spot. Blaze with Bunker is another hero that is great, so you always want to play around those a little bit. In theory, they could also go for... okay, there's the Panda and there is Malganes. Brutal frontline. So really nice frontline for them now as well. Ah, the Uther side laner. That's not too bad for this map either. I mean, again, it's not this main tank Uther thing that they play in North America, but it obviously takes some of those elements. Having Uther in that fight means that you have also more sustain in that battle. And now with 2 supports plus Zarya, Svangoda can first of all play a bit more aggressive with Feel the Heat if he goes down that path and therefore get more damage out. Now they have Jaina on the setup, but there's a lot of sustain throughout the objective. It's an interesting setup. It has very limited success so far in Europe on the other hand. So in their hands, on one of the top teams, it's obviously going to be a bit more impactful on this map, and with that setup here I also kind of like it a little bit more. But let's see if they have success with it. Is the additional stun that you have against Malganis, for example, that is also kind of nice. So now we have stuns and lockdown with Garrosh, Malfurion and Uther mainly. But here comes our last pick. Make, Zagara. Okay, it just got real. Shit got real, ladies. Zagara gets picked and that is going to be wild. Game number 2. Volskaya Foundry, the Vikings against Laubers Fanclub. Game on, everybody! The Vikings against the Fanclub. And, well, at this point, Zagara is probably the hero that interests me the most here. After Zagara got changed a little bit and was also buffed a bit through her level 4 talent and some of the creep tumor changes. Honestly, we had the hero, I think, once. One time. And she got absolutely murdered and was never picked again. So now Make is going to try his luck on Zagara. We have Burger, aka Backhold, on Mal'Ganis, Max Passion on Jen, Gia on Li Ming, and we have Skog on Anna. And on the right side of the map, Henning playing Malfurion. We have Tai on Jaina, Copenhagen on Uther, Lauber on Garrosh, and Svam Grotta on Zarya. With Feel the Heat, as expected, as a level 1 talent, and off we go. Yeah, so at this point, it's actually going to be interesting to see what Zagara is going to pull off. Volatile Acid on level 1 is going to be the talent of choice to start us off with. And yeah, it will actually be interesting. One of the biggest problems with Zagara is obviously that she doesn't have any kind of escape. She's great when it comes to pushing, but she is really and poking from the outside, but she is just not really a hero that can survive any kind of coordinated gank. So that's a big problem. And for Make, creep tumors, vision in general, good communication with the rest of the team, that is going to mitigate that a little bit. But there's always the risk that you're going to get murdered whenever your opponent has any kind of setup that is mobile. But all the heroes over here don't really have a lot of gap closers. There's stuns available, but as long as Make stays at a distance, that should be okay. So it will be interesting to see what he can do with this. Zagara, generally speaking, not really a great hero in the competitive scene for this. But again, if picked here, they're trying to throw a little bit of a curveball, and I am more than willing to see Zagara have an impact in this particular game. So all of a sudden, we currently have the setup in the middle of the map, aka the healing beacon, because of course after the towers are now taken at the 1 minute mark, this is the best chance that they have. Currently also have Fingers of Frost in play. Hammer of the Lightbringer is ready as well. And everybody at the top lane is already starting to somehow get in position around this. It's always a game of chicken. Does anybody go for it? Yes or no? Does someone make the play here? And right now, nobody has really moved in for it. And it's still a question if anybody really pulls the trigger here or not. Uther is still at the bottom of the map. And it's obviously also one of those reasons why Zagara can actually, on the side lane, do a whole lot of work. Going up against Uther is going to be great for her. If she's the one to go up against him, because normally you would see the Panda on that spot, but they can always rotate that around a little bit. So, we'll see. As it stands, we're currently still in the position where, well, with level 4 talents, the speed bubble is in, so that's the big threat or that Garrosh all of a sudden has. Dominance for Li Ming is another tool here too. And they're still hovering around that point. Svam Grotta is kind of keeping the aggro up a little bit just to see what he can do with this, but there's no real commitments that are being made just yet. Down at the bottom of the map, Max Passion and Copenhagen are still locked into that little fight, as the two teams are making now a move towards their own camp to not only get experience, but also have the pressure at the top lane. Oh well, if you want to have it the other way to mitigate the pressure on the other side. Off we go. First battle is already about to happen. And they're starting to go straight in for a little bit of extra action with this shrine now being active. Oh well, with the control point, the checkpoint being active. And it's the blue team that takes the initial lead. So they are currently in control of it. We still have at the bottom of the map still our setup into two melee heroes here. Nobody really making the rotation into the middle. That allows, of course, Zagara, who frequently just like stops by to drop a couple creep tumors. For now, it's mostly vision that's important for her, but of course there's other aspects too, movement speed just being one of them. And then theoretically we could see later on 13 and 16 also additional talents being picked for it. With level 7 talents, a little bit quicker in the hands of the Fanclub. We currently have Explosive Barrier. Also have, well, the flip and the lockdown attempt against Chen as the fight is finally starting for real. Calamity, of course, is a level 7 talent for Li Ming, gives her now a massive boost in damage that she can theoretically get here, especially, of course, with those potential resets that she could grab for herself. Level 7, after we've already now seen the Envenomed Spines taken. The Baneling Massacre. That's a lot more for the poke. That's exactly what we're currently seeing here. Alrighty, so the money pick, Gia just riding in style on Li Ming. I like it. But instead of getting their own turret, they're just trying to get the opponent's turret, or at least fight for that. Which means that if the turret is now actually being grabbed by the Fanclub, which it is, they don't have one to counter that out. There is a turret advantage at this point. Mal'Ganis is already up in the back again. Zagara trying to poke from a distance together with Liming, but there's Lauber, flips Zagara over, and that's exactly the spot where you don't want to be in. Marke can't be at the front lines or he is going to die. Ana just keeps him in play, and thanks to the deep dive, we have the kill against Garrosh. Zarya is also dead. They keep Mal'Ganis alive with 20 HP. It's insane. And now the jump straight into the middle. I mean, the wall was already open, so the Punisher just said, whatever, let's go for it. They get a kill against Li Ming now too, so that means that we have 3 heroes. Actually, 1 counter kill, sorry. 3 heroes eliminated in the last fight. It still means that the fort is gonna fall. So, yeah, that fort is not really gonna make it. Despite the fact that they had 2 supports in Zarya, they still lost 2 heroes here. And the entire battle isn't over yet, but at least they kept the Punisher, the Protector, from moving towards the top lane and taking that fountain down. The main question is, of course, how long will that last? Because there's still 20 seconds left, and the rotation is now slowly happening. So they're starting to make their play up towards the top. They're starting to get the damage in here. I was about to say the turret is already out of ammunition, and I was like, oh, wait a second. I forgot. Not really the sign that we're seeing here. Another kill against Uther. Yeah, these side lanes Uthers, they're always a little bit strange. I've seen so many of them now being picked up on the side where they just couldn't stay alive long enough, and that's now kill number 3 against the Fanclub, so they're already falling behind. I mean, given the track record in the last few games, this is exactly where the Fanclub wants to be. This is exactly the position that they want to be in. Win 1 teamfight in the late game after you've been behind the entire game and take it from there. Heroic abilities are in, that gives us also more. And we have the top Kek plays here with the Wandering Kek on the side of the Panda. Alright, no triple Panda here. Which in this case also makes a bit more sense. I mean, we've seen, of course, from... let's be honest. The Vikings, they have played this before. They play a lot with the Wandering Kek, but against this composition it makes even more sense. Because you have just so many heroes on the other side that will offer sustain. So you can isolate someone, is a much easier kill for you than trying to come in with a triple Panda. The more interesting part is that more will be definitely something to watch out for here. It's the talent that you should always play on this level, for sure, but what can you actually get with this? Because there's not really a setup. Well, there's a setup for Li Ming in the sense that she can more or less get a guaranteed combo. But there's not really a follow-up where you have a massive amount of wombo with, like, I don't know, a Ring of Frost or any kind of other burst damage when Jaina comes in with a quick Blizzard drop or anything like it. But yeah, bot lane, Panda still making his plays there. Over here, set up against Laubers, speed barrier, and there's the taunt and there's the kill. Yep, welcome to the problem of Zagara. That's one of the main problems and one of the main reasons why I don't see the hero played a lot. If anybody gets on her, she's dead. That taunt was, of course, pitch perfect. Not really a whole lot to be done with that. Over here, Copenhagen is still holding the line for now. Rest of the team rotates around, and well, let's see. 3 kills against 2. Experience is pretty much the same, so that's good. And choo-choo! Yeah, Smoke Brother already with the rotation. Backward with his burger account. I mean, it's just a massive taunt to Lauber, if you think about it. Talking about taunt. Didn't even need one in order to drop Jaina here. So they get a kill against her. 13 talents are in. That gives us the Hydralist Transfusion. And here's the top Kek play. Yeah, top Kek for sure. That's a kill. Down goes Zarya. Zarya eliminated, and all of a sudden the blue team has gained momentum again. Can you imagine if this game or this series, let's say, goes to map 5 and the Fanclub wins it? How mad the Vikings would be? Because right now they're playing great. They have, of course, trouble with Zagara in the sense that they need to make sure that she's never really facing any aggression from the damage dealers. But generally speaking, they're one of the few teams that have been able to play the Fanclub a little bit to the wall. But that doesn't mean anything if you can't lock in the kill at the end of the day. So that's the big problem. So now we have again the move from Max Passion slowly towards the top. Talking about the top, the fight is already starting without him. People are impatient. But Max Passion is coming in, and there's the top Kek play again. Oh, well, maybe not now. Nope, Hand of Freedom. And so he's just keking through the area, but he couldn't really get anything done with it. Zagara by now has the unstoppable competitor, and that's exactly what they needed here. But the play again for the healing beacon. In we go. Ooh, the stun! And they try to get the kill against Zagara again, but not this time. Ana is low though too. And there's the double more. Gia, nano boost! Oh, get fucked! Comes in, nano boosted Li Ming with a mad damage, and then it's Zagara who gets the kill in with the Banelings. That's an insta double kill against the team. Holy hell! Nice! It's always nice to see what you can actually do with a little bit of good coordination on a high level play. So yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt a lot. 7 kills against 2. And they are also now 2 levels ahead. Oh, that's actually a pretty sexy play. Pretty sexy style there too, and maybe even Protector number 2 in their hands. Damage output, 22,000 now for Li Ming. Zagara on 17k at this point. And yeah, Max Passion. He's just having a good time up here at the top. Kopenhagen is coming in, but he's already sitting at 84 points. They wait for level 16. He can always keg out, and he's kegging out. Why wouldn't he keg out? Top keg plays all day, every day. Oh, there we go. In they go. Level 16 is ready, and well, that's the setup. Yeah, they're trying to go for Kopenhagen again. He's already being pushed away. Like, you can't fight here. I have no idea why he stayed that long in the first place. He's actually surviving this, which is kind of nuts, but still, that is of course a Protector in the hands of the Vikings, and now they can play through that. Alright. So they're starting to move there straight down to the bottom, I would assume. I don't really think they're going to go for keep here. They're actually posturing a little bit. That's actually kind of neat. Posturing with 2 heroes, as long as they make it out, it's fine. And both of them have, of course, escape tools, so that's good. That was not the throw that they were looking for, and there's another top kick play. Yeah. And that allows Jaina is even dead as Gia gets the kill here. Holy shit. And guys, while all of this is happening, we have the Protector at the bottom of the map just doing its thing. And there's nobody to stop this, nobody to deal with it. And they're still fighting at the top. There's a talent advantage in their hands. They fight a 4 versus 3. But still, Kopenhagen getting thrown forward to maybe provide a stun, but Gia wasn't even close. So he could easily move away. And the Protector's like, well, if nobody deals with us, then we are going for the keep too, boys. So they are actually starting to take this one down, or at least the wall, and they have a mad advantage now going into objective number 3, and if they claim it, they can go for the keep right away. So the situation on the map is incredible for the Vikings. It's absolutely incredible. And they're going straight in with another keck play for Kopenhagen. I can't believe how much value they get here. And also, this is like, I don't know how many games we've now seen with this side lane Uther, and I don't know if we've won actually a single one of them. It feels like side lane Uther is, every time I see it, getting murdered on the European side. This is something that only seems to be successful in North America. But just as I say it, that stun and the follow-up at least get a kill against Mal'Ganis. The problem is that down at the bottom of the map, yes! There's another kill! More and kill as they take down Zarya. The keep has lost a lot of HP. Make might fall though. Make is gonna fall. That would be a miracle escape. Yeah, he drops the healing beacon immediately because, you know, oh, actually, now that the Panda comes in and Li Ming, that's a different story. Yeah, so much for Make falling. That's 1 down, 2 down, and Tai is gonna fall too. That's 3 down. 3 heroes eliminated, and off they go to drop the keep. Guys, think about where we are right now. We're in game number 2 with a lead in the series for the fan club because the Vikings lost 1 fight in the late game. If this game continues the way it's going right now, we'll look at a 1-1 in this series, which pretty much means that if the Vikings didn't fuck up in the last game, they would be 2-0 ahead. Can you imagine to be in that situation and instead having to fight through this? I mean, we're not there yet. This is normally the moment when the fan club takes 1 team fight and then wins the game. So, I don't want to jinx it, but having that level 20 advantage that's coming in just a few moments is obviously a big deal. And the objective should be announced very soon too. So now we have another item that they are about to take. Max Passion is already sitting tight and is saying like, I can kick them away all day long, ladies. Don't worry about it. And there's a quick pause. Doesn't seem like anybody over here is actually disconnected. Copenhagen is fine too, so maybe a little bit of a problem with technical equipment. but it gives us a bit of a chance to look also at the damage output. Uther top damage. Yeah, that Divine Storm helps in these situations. Zarya is only at 18,000, which is pretty atypical actually for Swarmgorda, and Jaina isn't looking too hot on this one either. Maka has so far done a fantastic job. He's sitting at 112,000 siege damage, and 30,000 hero damage isn't too bad either. But the situation is still that every single fort has been eliminated. So we're looking at the one at the top, one in the middle has been destroyed, one at the bottom of the map is down 2, which also means there's no fountain anywhere near to the next checkpoint that we're going to see spawn at the bottom of the map. And the blue team still has all of that up. So they still have a fountain here. They have nearly level 20, which is going to come in a second. And then they have the mad aggression through the bottom of the map that they can simply use to take them down here. Gia is also actually in. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the equipment problem is. But the entire setup of the red team was honestly going into this pretty solid. You have the synergy between Zarya and Garrosh, which has so far, I mean, not really yielded any noticeable results, even with a follow-up on Malfurion that can also provide the root so that Jaina can get the damage in. It's just these combos don't work out for them. And now there's multiple tools for the blue team that can interrupt them. You have Keck for... Well, first of all, you have Wave of Force. That already can be a problem. Then you have Keck on Chen, and he has been incredibly disruptive. And you have the Maw also for Zagara, which has been a problem on top of it too. Tyrant Maw is in, and they're trying to go for the isolation again. But the Fanclub deals with it a bit better from here on out. You have, of course, the Unstoppable Barrier for Zarya, which helps. And they have the Indomitable and also Hand of Freedom. There's the lockdown, the stun, and the kill. The double Maw, but this time there's no... Oh, is there a follow-up? Yes, but it's not strong enough. And now that Li Ming jumped in and didn't get the kill, she's in trouble too. Oh, Gia! He gets out. They all seem to be getting out here. But they still lost Mal'Ganis. Mal'Ganis is dead. Okay, the Panda is in trouble, and the Panda might even fall. Tries to get away, and they get the kill against Malfurion. Holy shit, Li Ming! Li Ming with 2 kills, the third one, and over here we are actually seeing a potential kill against Swarmgorda too. Scratch the potential, Zarya is dead. Guys, they just dropped 4 heroes after they initially lost Mal'Ganis. Who needs a tank? Who needs a fucking tank? Screw tanks. They came in and they just murdered them. 3 catapults are already zooming in on the core, and now they can drop the game. Unbelievable. What a setup here. You just keg him away, they go for the core, and this is indefensible. You can't make this happen. This is a 1-1. 1-1 situation right here as the Vikings take the victory on Volskaya Foundry. Nicely done. GG and well played as the Vikings walk away with a win in map number 2. Let's head straight into the third map of the best of 5 series. Game number 3, Battlefield of Eternity, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Yeah, the Vikings, they could be ahead with a 2-0, but unfortunately for them, game number 1 didn't quite end the way they expected. To be honest, it didn't end the way that everybody expected it to end after how the entire map was played out, but the fan club just said, you know what, guys, we can get bullied around all game long. If we win the deciding team fight at the end of the game, we're going to be the team that walks away with a victory. And well deserved too. If you make such a beautiful fight happen and you kill 4 heroes in the process, good for you. Battlefield of Eternity is the third map, and one of the teams is going to take the lead here, the fan club. Kind of didn't really find an opening into the last map, and as I said, like, that Uther side lane just doesn't really seem to cut it in Europe. We've seen 5-6 games with it so far, and I don't think I've seen a win with it yet. Maybe one. I might be forgetting about one here, but I can't remember a game where Uther side lane actually won in Europe yet. North America is a little bit of a different story, but I mean, time will tell. Teams are dabbling in it every now and then, every so often. Right now, it didn't really make a difference. This is another map where we occasionally have actually seen it. Deathwing gets banned out again. There's the ban on Ana. Pretty sure Mark is going to take Li Ming immediately if he can get the chance. But Chen gets banned first. No top keg plays on this map. Okay, so there's the ban on Zarya. That makes sense because, as I said previously, already. It is a strategy they love to play here too. They got it through on the last map and it didn't quite work out, but the Vikings are well aware that the fan club are very likely going to pick both of those heroes, Garrosh and Zarya, again if they get a chance. Rexa and Liming immediately being picked. So the Liming pick for Gia this time, so Maka apparently not heading into it. That's an interesting one. But I mean, again, priority is still there. Same priority as previously. Okay, so when it comes to picks for the fan club, what else are we gonna see from them? Currently, Svamgrota could go into one of his damage dealers. I mean, Vala for Tai would be great now. There we go. And ETC for Lauber to give her a little bit of additional space and also try and get a stun into the Immortal stun to happen. Greymane is still up for Immortal damage. Hanzo is still up, hasn't been taking it either. And, well, what else? Off we go. Hopefully. I mean, what do you ban out here? It's really off lane that I would probably focus on the most, but actually they banned Greymane. I was totally on the board with them getting Greymane. I think Greymane would have been a nice one for them. But let's see what Maka actually wants to play. Maka could throw another one of these curveballs. There's always, of course, Hammer that you could lock in too, but that's more so a thing that teams like Washed Up love to play. And to be fair, we see it from the fan club every now and then too, but they prefer Vala, especially, of course, with that arrow build just chunking down the Immortal like there's no tomorrow in these cases. So, well, let's see. There comes the Rega ban. Okay. And let's see. With Rega being banned out, I mean, on the support side, to be honest, we've seen a lot of Anduin players on the map where you can do a whole lot of work with Anduin. He can be pretty great here. We still have other heroes up. I mean, Karazim has been played if you want to be super aggressive. He's a little bit more popular on the map now, since Blizzard buffed him slightly. And they actually go for Tyrande. We've seen it once or twice in an A now, and teams are starting to fall back on that. It's always a little bit of a weird one because Tyrande has a lot of problems right now, but with those stuns and follow-ups, if you can actually coordinate that properly and get, let's say, a Misha stun or Johanna with a Blessed Shield later and then Liming with a combo, you can still do the same amount of damage, and you have the Hunter's Mark for the Immortal. So I always feel a little bit weird when we see it because of the weaknesses that she has these days, and also ever since we see Celestial Attunement move to 16, but she can still be an option. Muradin on the other side, oh my god, Muradin and ETC plus Alarak. Alright, the CC is real. Damn. Not bad. That's actually going to be an interesting one. What's the last pick? What is Maka going to get? What's Maka going to grab? I mean, they need damage. And I feel like there's a curveball coming, right? Arthas! Johanna, Arthas, Rexa. That front line, both of the teams. Alright, game 3, ladies. Let's go. Battlefield of Eternity, our third map in the best of 5 series of Division S Europe. Okay, game 3, let's go. At this point, we have massive amount of frontliners here. It's the day of the tanks apparently on the map, and let's check it out. On the left side, Maka on Arthas. Not something that you see every day. The Vikings with Max Passion on Rexa, Backhold on Johanna, G on Liming, and Skog on Tyrande. And over on the right side of the map, Svamgrota on Alarak. We have Lauber for the fan club on Muradin, Tai on Vala. Henning is currently playing Malfurion, and Copenhagen on ETC. Alright, let's go. I mean, I'm ready for a bit of a melee brawl. I mean, this is really gonna be a melee here. And yeah, it's gonna be... could be a fun one. Alarak is always nice when played by Svamgrota in particular. I mean, he's one of the few Alarak players that we have. Well, let's maybe rephrase that a little bit. He's one of the few players that actually focuses on playing Alarak a lot. We have quite a few that can actually drop the hero and do it every now and then. But Svamgrota definitely quite solid here. But it will be interesting because both teams play with a very aggressive setup, and it comes down a bit to the Hunter's Mark on the side of the Vikings. If they are able to get the Hunter's Mark on a target and then focus the damage, that would be nice. It's obviously also a question of who is taking the Immortal down quicker, and with Vala and an arrow build, I would say that that goes to the fan club. But with all those stuns that we're seeing, an interesting game. ETC has taken side lane, as expected, after we've seen the pick on Muradin. So that's one. And off we go. another setup against Tyrande. Tyrande in particular interests me right now. So let's have a look-see. One stack currently on Muradin. Goes into the perfect storm. Honestly, every single time we see such a melee-heavy setup, I want to see Muradin go into his level 4 Stormbolt talent. I just want to see him try and play around that, because in theory, it's actually fantastic. First, I mean, it takes a lot of the sustain away from the hero. That's the problem. But it's kind of funny because you make a lot more damage against the Immortal in the long run. You're fantastic in the late game against structures just in general. So you have to hit your Stormbolts though. And it helps you also, of course, to get the quest completed. Barely jumping out, but nice lockdown. Nice setup by Khaldor into the range of the towers, but not able to get the kill here for him. Well, let's see if they get a bit more aggressive thanks to them running this many melee heroes here in the setup. Okay, let's go. Level 4 talents, make it happen. I mean, we know what's happening on Vala's side, so that's a given. Copenhagen in the top is now playing it out against Max Passion still. And Vala is already getting the job done with the Monster Hunter. And he goes for it. Sledgehammer, yes! Sledgehammer is in. Nice. Okay, so Sledgehammer already in play. That's a good one. And, well, let's see. In we go with level 4 talents, which gives us amongst... Muradin. Okay, he gets out. Yeah, with that we have actually Deathlord now taken. Okay, it's a bit of a different setup. Charge Blast also for Li Ming. And the first Immortal is about to spawn, and off we go. So far we don't have a single kill in the game, but that should be changing soon with the Immortal being up. And, yep, that's going to be some nice action. And I like that we actually see Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer is kind of... It's a fun talent. It's a stacking talent. It helps you with the baseline. And it gets also more damage against the Immortal than later on in the game. I mean, you can get mad damage with that talent when played properly. Nearly an even trade in the Immortal. That's going to change once that Vala and Muradin are getting more stacks together on their quest talents. And also, of course, the level 7 talent is going to make a huge difference there. But, yep, there we are. Shots are being fired once again. Everybody is setting up. There's the stun. Nice. Vampgroda gets out for just a moment. Tries to turn it around. And they're actually brawling all over the place already. Love it. Yeah, in we go. We get the lockdown against Muradin. And that's a kill. The dwarf is down. And now they're trying to go in for a follow-up. Yeah, Misha's about to fall, but Henning is also a bit low on Malfurion. It seems like Max Passion is going to get him killed, but he doesn't. It gets close, but he's not falling. So now 2 heroes on the red team have been eliminated, whereas the blue team is holding on to all of them. But for how long? Johanna goes down. The combo from Alarak. Tyrande still on the run, and she actually makes it out. Gia and Make were both low, but they focus on the Immortal now. And it seems like they might just be able to grab it. 4 stacks on Vala, 4 also for Muradin. Yeah, even with Sledgehammer, this is going to get tricky. They burn the Immortal hit points down quickly, but Gia can focus on this very, very quickly without any problem too, and that's it. First one goes to the blue team. First one taken by the team in blue, and off we go to the first fort, top side. That's where both teams are headed. Not really as many stacks as you would probably guess for Tai, 4 only, given that he's up against Misha. He could have gotten a few more. But there we have it. Everybody is starting to jump in with the focus onto the front line. And that's the end of Alarak. Nearly the end of Laubers too. But that's level 7 talents. That's Calamity. That's also cooldown reduction for Johanna. Level 7 on both sides now. So the repeating arrow at least. But that's a lot of momentum. And thanks to the kill against Alarak, it means that they're going to get the keep at the fort. Fort is about to be taken down. Nice setup here at the bottom of the map though. Another Stormbolt that missed from Laubers. He's now currently sitting at 10. 6 in the baseline. Malfurion is dead. Marcus just walking them into the ground here. Having all of the slows available for him. Dodging out on some of the burst damage with his Icebound Fortitude on level 7 of course. But I'm not quite sure what's happening here, guys. This is kind of incredible. The Vikings are absolutely turning up the heat here. They had a bit of a rough start into the season. Very rough start, actually. And especially, I mean, they lost on... If I remember correctly, the first match that they played was against the newcomer. It was against Crystal. And they lost that one. And pretty decisively, too. So it feels like, at least at the beginning of the season, it was a bit of a brain fart moment for them. And now they're starting to turn things around. I mean, the Fanclub has so far established themselves together with Washed Up as one of the top teams here. And now we are seeing 4 kills against 2. Finally, the Fanclub gets a kill in as well. But generally speaking, the Vikings have so far on all 3 maps played incredibly well. They had a fantastic first game up to the point where they lost the big decisive team fight at the end of the game. Up to the point where they didn't anymore. And game number 1 is off to a good start for them too. Yes, they just lost the hero and they therefore lost the camp at the bottom of the map, but they took the fort at the top. They dominated the last team fight. And generally speaking, their coordination just looks incredible. So, the Fanclub has to be careful here. You don't want to fall behind in a best of 5 like it is. But it's obviously just the start. Just the beginning of game number 3. Heroic abilities aren't there yet. They now come in for objective number 2. But it's at least something where I have to give a lot of credit to the Vikings just because they look so much better in this series like they do in all of the previous matches that we've seen them play. And, well, here we go. Level 10. And with this, nothing crazy. I mean, on the side of Tyrande, we have Starfall. That's probably noteworthy here at least. And they don't have a talent advantage heading into this. Muradin, okay, first of all, stage dive comes in. Muradin still with the avatar. And the earlier lead again for the team in red. Over here, nice job by Johanna, delaying this slightly. Halftime show taken by the Vikings. But this is really the moment, and Vala has at least a few more stacks together. She's not quite done with the level 4 quest, but she has 11. That's at least a solid damage output. Muradin is on 19 stacks for the baseline, so he needs a bit more for Pierce. And also then, of course, the cooldown reduction on the auto attacks. But the teams are actually dancing around this. And the lead that we now see for the Vikings gives them a position where it makes it a bit easier for them. And it puts the pressure on the Fanclub more so than anything. And they're already trying to poke here. The side laners have moved in to deal with those shaman camps that are threatening the forts. But there's only one global. That's the stage dive of ETC. And he can always use that. Tai is working a few of additional arrows in. That's going to increase his damage output too. If he can get a safe move onto anybody here, he's going to do that a bit more often as well. Once that Misha, for example, moves in, I'm pretty sure that we're going to see that cooldown put to good use. But there we go. Marker, yep, eats 1. Now we're talking about 13, okay, so Tai can always play around that. In comes Misha as well, and the blue team is pushing. ETC hasn't moved in yet. He has the stage dive, and he connects really nicely. There's also the power slide, and that's a huge problem for the blue team. Strafe comes in. Tai with the damage. Is it enough? Maybe not quite. Starfall is in. Quest completed on the baseline for Muradin, and they get the setup with Alarak. Down goes Rexa, and they go for the rest of the team. With Tyrande falling, there's nobody there for heals anymore, and they're going to lose way more than that. A kill against Arthas is followed by another one against Johanna. 4 heroes down, and the Fanclub, just as it looked like it might be a tough game for them, they're turning it around. They win the team fight decisively, and now they go for an easy pick on Immortal number 2. They come in with Vala, who's now sitting at 16 stacks, 117 sadism for Alarak, and that looks solid. And ETC has immediately taken to the top lane. He has another 22 seconds on the stage dive, so he can stage dive in whenever he needs to. Has also gone into Hammer on to get a bit more damage in against the Immortal, so it's all about the race for them right now. But that setup is exactly what they needed here. This is definitely what they needed. Good fight for them. Now with level 13 talents, we have the Bronze Beard Rage. And the big fight at the bottom of the map. The level 13 talent give them a lead. The stage dive is ready, but ETC currently doesn't give a shit. He's just sitting topside. He's like, guys, you are fine. You're totally fine. I'm going to push another wave out, and then I might come in. But right now, there's another big setup, and ETC Liming! Oh, they kill Misha, but now look at Arthas. Arthas gets pushed back. Telekinesis is ready. Tyrande tries with Starfall to zone them out as much as she can, and Tranquility is keeping the team in red in play. But still a good defense. That was actually nicely done. This could have done so much more damage. I mean, this could have honestly been the destruction of the fort. They still don't have level 13 talents, but they're just simply going for the camp anyways. I'm not sure if that's the right play here. That's a very aggressive one, considering that they're down a talent. So now the turnaround attempt. ETC down, low, needs to be careful. Slides through, slides back. Misha comes in for a follow-up stun. Muradin is a little bit low as well, but can jump out. Still had enough mana. Is dropping low though. And the kill against Liming. Followed by another drop against Arthurs. The quest completed for Vala. The momentum is shifting. Momentum is completely shifting at this point. So now Tai just works down the fountain here. Svaramgota is even anchoring the side play. And Muradin moves in again. Gets another Storm Bolt, has PS by now and uses it against Misha and Drexa. So that's another kill secured. And with 19 stacks now on level 1, it also means that we are going to see more and more damage through Sledgehammer against the objective if they ever end up in a race scenario again. And 20 stacks isn't too bad. That's solid damage. It's not setting a new record or anything, but with Sledgehammer, you're starting to drop serious damage on any kind of immortal structure or even camp, so that's already worth it a lot. And off they go. 135 sadism by now, and they're 2 levels ahead. It's not only the fact that you're actually in a situation where you have a 2-level lead over your opponent, which gives you a stats advantage. They are also looking at level 16 during this immortal phase, which is incredible, of course, too. And they're starting to race again, and Muradin with a Storm Bolt, dropping a lot of damage there too. Vala, of course, with the quick double arrow can do a whole lot. But the race is still pretty even. I mean, like, there is like a 3,000 point difference, so it's not really all that even. But yeah, there is an advantage for the fan club now. It's a little bit better on this. Alright. But let's see. For now, 26,000 on Liming, 43,000 on Vala. Slight difference. Yeah, and they're poking the damage in. There comes the setup though. Nice stun, beautiful stun, and what a kill against Malfurion. Easy one. They try to get the counter kill against Gia, but instead it seems like Alarak is gonna fall next. Muradin is trying to get more damage in against the objective and nearly made it happen. It's Vala actually, they're still looking for access to the Immortal. Both of them are. Liming the only one attacking it right now, but there's another Storm Bolt, and again, as I said, those Storm Bolts do work. But Muradin is now also in a pretty tricky spot. Does he have a jump? He doesn't. He doesn't. Oh. Last second. Yeah, but he still has to rush away here. Level 16 talents. We see Frost Shot. Wants to get the slow in. Oh, strafe. Lockdown. ETC. He tries, but he can't save Tai. Yeah, Tai is down and the Immortal is falling too. And Muradin, he's still running. Muradin is still running. Ja. Und wenn nicht gestorben ist, dann rennt heute noch. Well, but in this case, I think he's gonna fall after all. Nice blessed shield coming out of nowhere from Muradin's perspective. He definitely didn't see that one coming. And now they can defend against the Immortal. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of shields, right? But this is a beautiful game. Back and forth the entire time. 9 kills against 8, and it's a great third map for the series, too. So, in we go. They're starting to isolate Svaramgota too, and Alarak is just like, yeah, I'm not so sure here. He might, I mean, again, they let him go. Likely, because he can't do anything down there anyways, and he's just going to distract them from pushing with the Immortal, so that's a problem. But they're starting to jump in for the wall, and they're going to take this one down as well. So now we have level 16, which gives us the synergy with a level 4 talent for Arthas. Embrace death. Talking about embracing death, that's something that Alarak might have to embrace too. Oh, he barely gets away. Just before Gia comes in and tries to drop him with the wave of force and the combo. But the keep at the bottom of the map is taking a bit of damage. Lauber again on the chase. Hidwa jumps in, has the dwarf launch. ETC, they want to go for Liming, but they couldn't lock her down. Where's the Storm Bolt when you need it? And there it is, the kill against Toranda. And they're chasing them again. Ah, well, it seems like Makke is going to fall. Makke down, more sadism for Alarak. Yeah, he needs to get it back. Lauber. Oh, not today. Gia sees it coming, waits for the animation, and moves away from it. Topside has to be defended too. Johanna was trying to push it out a bit more, but of course Alarak is ready. He's not the only one. Copenhagen is moving in. And it's a nice game. It's a cool game. It's a really cool game. Okay, so now we have 8 kills against 12. Very, very kill-heavy game, of course, on top of everything else as well. 59,000 damage for Vala and 34,000 for Liming. Slight difference. Tiny difference. Obviously also very different playstyle now of the hero on the map. Muradin with 26,000 hero damage, 25,000 siege damage now. I mean, he is on point with those Storm Bolts when it comes to the Immortal, so he is going to do more damage with Sledgehammer now as the game progresses, and that will make it easier for them to race it, if they ever end up in that situation. And I was actually waiting for him to drop a Storm Bolt even here, which he now didn't. Ah, well, there we go. That's a huge chunk. He's sitting at 30 stacks now. Okay, they might actually turn this. Yeah, Li Ming is in trouble. There's a Tranquility. ETC jumps in. Tyrande isolated. And can they drop the damage? Yes, they can. But Mirrodin is getting out. The problem is that we have ETC dying. Mirrodin is still alive, but you can already see the problems with Tyrande, generally speaking. She has done a lot in this game. The Hunter's Mark, the stuns that we've seen, highly impactful. But she's also very squishy, and they are trying to use and abuse that as much as they can. But now Vala is down, and with the main damage dealer gone, this is of course a mad issue. There is still Alarak to consider, and Mirrodin, max passion, and he dies. Moonfired, yep. Got his ass moonfired here, and that drops him, and Alarak with the kill against Li Ming. And now Berghult is also in trouble. Oh my god, it is a graveyard. It is an absolute graveyard as everybody just jumps in and drops one target after another. That's insane. Now the fort is down. They're starting to move straight down towards the Immortal to start to work on this one. And Mirrodin is getting the most damage in against it. With Vala gone, I mean, he's the main damage healer for them now on this. But Vala's going to be back in just a few seconds. And if you look at the experience, they have 20. Oh yeah, baby. There's a level 20 talents right here. And, well, Serenity, Bolt of the Storm, Rewind, the Hasty Bargain. ETC checking this out over to the left side. And as you can tell, Farfly Quiver keeping Vala at a distance. And that's 100% shields. 100% Immortal Shields. And level 20 talents. The Fan Club is in a mad spot to drop Keep and maybe Core. Insane spot. Insane spot for them right now. And it's going to move through the bottom of the map, whereas the camp is moving topside. So this is the chance. ETC can still move to the top and then stage dive in. Easy move for him. But this Immortal 18 minutes in with 100% shield? Holy hell, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt a lot. But yeah, ETC is exactly where you expect him to be. He takes the catapults down at the top. He helps with the wave. Gives his team a bit of a lead. Has to stage dive in eventually. Mirrodin with another Stormbolt is sitting at 34 now. Good damage from him, of course. And the more he can stack, the better for the late game. They burn down Misha quickly. Misha is down. ETC is pushing in at the top gate. Yeah, both keeps under pressure. Heavily under pressure. There's no 20 inside for them. Stormbolt misses as Lauber jumps into the backline. He's not the only guy that jumps into the backline. So does ETC. Gets welcomed by a Li Ming combo, by a stun, and gets blown to pieces. Yeah, mad cow right here. He's dead, but so is the Keep. The problem is, of course, that the Immortal could still do some damage to the core now, too. It's a 5 versus 4, though. 5 versus 4, but let's not forget, while this is happening, and while it seems like Misha is going to fall again, the top Keep is soon going to take some damage, too. And the core, very likely, will at least receive some damage. The question is just, can they drop it, yes or no? Mirrodin is going to be important here with another Stormbolt. They get Misha down, and it's only 2% on the core. Not enough. Not enough, and level 20 now on both sides, and everybody's on the run. But the... the repulsion play! Tai locked down and cleansed out. Yeah, they're trying to force it back, and they're still on the run. Lauber wants another Stormbolt. Does he get it? Oh my god, the 5 versus 4. And Mirrodin just disappears. Tyrande with the Huntress Mark. The Blessed Shield misses. Vala gets pushed in again. Tries to go for the kill against. The Indestructible actually got procced, but Vala is dead. What a game again. 13 against 16. Okay, can they... What can they do with this? I mean, there's 2 camps up, of course. What the fuck is he doing? He gets the kill against Tyrande. ETC! The double kill! What the fuck is happening here? Oh, and Alarak gets dropped, but it's still a 2-for-1 trade. He just traded 2-for-1 into 5 heroes. I mean, Alarak died, but it doesn't matter. It's still a good trade, and it limits the option of what the Vikings can do now. It's insane. Mirrodin is at 41 stacks. 41 stacks, that gives him 200 damage against heroes. Meaning with Rewind, he has now all of a sudden the potential to do 400 damage against a single target. 800 if he hits 2 targets with Pierce. This is nuts. Oh, it's honestly nuts. The problem with Alarak dying is, of course, that he dropped the sadism. So that's his problem. From a macro perspective, it was a worthy trade, because it was a 2-for-1. But he drops the sadism. But there was little that could be done. So if they were at any point concerned about the blue team moving through the bottom keep, then this was, of course, a fantastic trade. Losing the sadism for that is worth it. If the blue team never really thought about that in the first place, then it's a bit of a different story. So, yeah, the sadism is a bit of an issue, but outside of that, the trade, a good one. Now, of course, this is the big fight. And ETC is again sitting at the bot side. Misha is already down. The keep is still dropped, so that means the catapult are eventually going to push. That matters. That matters a lot. Meridian again. Another stun, another setup, another lockdown attempt. Tyrande with a missed flare. Yeah, ETC jumps in, and Tyrande's in trouble. Tyrande's in trouble. There's the Starfall as the follow-up. Tranquility is already getting used. Meridian needs to be careful. Jumps out. Straight into the Tranquility, I might add. And they're on the retreat, and Vala is actually locked down. Vala is dead. No way. No. Oh, there we go. Kill for kill. A trade. The 2 damage. Oh, the double storm bolt. Oh my god. Arthas, Tyrande, Alarak. What the hell? What a game. Keep at the top lane, ladies. Look at this. Nearly no hit points left. The bot lane gets pushed too. Keeps all over the place are just being taken down. We have Johanna trying to chase down Malfurion. Now she's in trouble. The fight over here also still ongoing, but it seems like Johanna is the first one to fall. Copenhagen, my god, what the fuck is happening here? There's the Indestructible that gets procced. They're still trying to chase Max Passion. When Meridian has the jump, he's done. The feigned death, but there's the kill. And Johanna is dead too. What a game. Keep low, but all of them are still in play, and they're making the play for the Immortal right now. Incredible. 50 stacks on Meridian's level 4. Level 1, sorry. 50 stacks. This is insane. Yeah, and right now, 98,000 damage for Vala. And of course, she's back now. They're trying to make the play for the Immortal. We're 23 minutes into the game. This looks very much like we're going to see the lead for the fan club. Very much like a big lead right now. This is starting to become a bit nasty. Yes, that's a kill. And, well, it gives them 60% shield, roughly. Roughly a 60% shield now. Honestly, this should be game. But then again, we've seen a couple of insane moves. If there's a quick... if there's a Tyrande stun with a Hunter's Mark and then a Li Ming combo, and you get the insta-kill, you can always defend against this. I'm not saying it's easy. But it will be... It's possible. It's possible. It's not easy, but it's possible. We've seen it. But let's see if that happens. 22 kills against 15. Yeah, anti-magic shell is now in, everything is in, and yeah, there we go. That thing hurts. It just hurts. Range damage until the shield's gone. I mean, they still have the 50 stacks also on Meridian. That's extra damage against structures too if it ever comes to a race against the core. And that keep is just gone. And keep the catapults at the bot lane in mind. Oh, ETC with the bottom sword. Look at Lauber. Lauber doesn't give a fuck. Lauber says, like, it's Stormbolt time, baby. He goes for the Stormbolts, and he already prepares it for the Immortal, and for good reason. He is in a much better spot right here doing the damage, and that's exactly what he needs to do, what he wants to do, and what he does. They go in, and they drop their core, and that is the lead. A 2-1 for the fan club against the Vikings in the best of 5. GG and well played on Battlefield of Eternity. Game number 4, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Okay, potentially the last map. I gotta say, this series is actually awesome. Great. Vikings could be in the lead right now, but they screwed up a little bit on the first map. And even the third map was something where I really thought for a long time that they had the upper hand. The fan club absolutely stepping it up though, and in a pretty insane back and forth, they were finally able to secure themselves the victory. So now in the lead in the series, which might still go 5 maps, depending a bit on how the Vikings play it right now. But, well, let's check that out. Also, a little bit of a knowledge bomb for everybody watching specifically on YouTube, because the question always pops up. This is casted live. Every single time you see a draft like this, it's casted live. And every single time that the draft is actually missing, you can assume that it was casted by replays for whatever reason. Either because there were like 2 matches that were played at the same time and I could only cast one live, but still wanted to provide coverage of the second one, or because I'm covering Division S North America and therefore, because of the time zones, cast replays as well. When I cast replays, I never know how the series ends. So I always cast the replays as if those games were live, but since Blizzard doesn't include any bans and like picks and bans in the replay data, I'm not really following up on those. On some of the websites for the matches, there's occasionally the option to actually go in there and look up the picks and bans, but honestly, if I already go into replays at that, I can't really be bothered to go over that all the time, so instead we're just going to focus in those cases on the games themselves. But just because the question pops up all the time, if you don't see a draft, that's the reason why. It's not because I sit there and say like, boring. No, if we have a draft, we always go over it. But since it comes up time and time again, there's a bit of a little bit of an explanation for you. So again, the ban on Deathwing, standard, Europe. We have also Swamgora's Junkrat banned out, but also the ban on Jojo. Great on the map here. Yeah, Wave Clear obviously reigns supreme. Another map where we could, by the way, in theory, either see Mephisto for Marke or maybe Gul'dan again. Jaina, another good hero. Kel'Thas can be played, has been played in the past a bit more often. Rexa for the bot lane, another good option that we now have seen a lot. Leo, of course, fits in as well. Vala, good pick here too. A lot of wave clear. It's really just a wave clear that you want to emphasize a little bit. And you also want to have a strong solo laner so that your foreman has a little bit more freedom in what exactly they're doing there. So that's a couple of the things that you have to consider heading into those drafts. But yeah. Let's see where they're going from there. There's Gul'dan, together with Oriel. Okay, so already the choice made in terms of, well, not only wave clear, we're going to see a bit more than that, but at least one wave clear hero is already picked, and also the mage, which means that it's very unlikely we're going to see a second mage on their end. Double mage is usually not played because you're incredibly cooldown dependent, and you're more or less also depending on your attack with the abilities getting the kill done, or it's going to be tricky for you, and for the duration of the cooldown you will have a tough time. So normally it's a mix between an auto attacker and a mage. And talking mages, we see a few more. Chromie comes in, and Rexa, as mentioned, a good pick on the map and therefore taken for the bot lane. Chromie is in together with Malfurion, and that's off to a good start. Right, so let's have a bit of a look what's getting banned out now. You can still ban the main tank. Vikings should probably consider that right now, considering the spot that they are in. Unless they really want to ban out more damage, but no, ETC gets banned. Yeah, well, Laubers special. And on the other side, what do we get instead? Could still try and play a little bit around the hero pool or the priority heroes for backhold, of course. Or the offlane. Those are probably the two that you kind of want to focus in a little bit more. Let's see. Yeah, Blaze. Max Passion's hero gets attacked. Could see that Chen again. Another option. Leo is good on the map. Chen is good on the map. Theoretically speaking, we've seen a couple of times also Malthael. Don't really think that in this case we're going to have him played. But yeah, let's jump straight in for the main tank. I mean, backhold on this map is honestly going to be a little bit interesting, because what we kind of often see from him is still that Garrosh play. Yeah, well, there it is. And Max Passion with Leo, also as anticipated, but we still don't have a choice for Gia yet, and there's still a chance that they're going to go into some triple melee lineup with this. But on the other side, Laubers still needs a tank. Diablo is up. Melganis is up. Those are probably the two most likely picks on his part. I'm currently brain farting. I'm definitely missing like at least two here that I'm currently going through in my head. And okay, that I didn't see coming. Varian and Nazeebo. Alright, we're getting a bit wild here. Nazeebo is played a bit more these days again. And Varian is very interesting. Now, of course, Taunt got buffed, which actually was quite laughable already, since Taunt was the best talent that he has on level 4 to begin with. Meme Blades and Smash, not really the talents you usually want to play or see. And it was always very amusing that, especially on the pleb level, people were like, Taunt is still not strong enough, you can't play it. And everybody facepalmed that has any idea of what competitive looks like. So yeah, Varian, after that buff, is actually played occasionally. Very rarely, but we see him. And in this case, I didn't expect him, but there he is. And on the other side, Gia is playing Greymane. So yeah, let's go. The setup is ready. The Fanclub against the Vikings. Map number 4, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Game on! The Vikings against the Fanclub. Maka and Gul'dan for the blue team. Backhold on Garrosh, Gia on Greymane, Max Passion on Leoric, and Skok on Oriel. And on the right side of the map, the Fanclub with Swamp Grotta on Chromie, Copenhagen on Rexa, Nazeebo, played by Tai, seen this previously, again with the Thing of the Deep on level 1, Henning on Malfurion, and Lauber on Varian. So there's actually like multiple ways how they can currently play this. I mean, obviously, one of the ideas is to get Nazeebo to 20, play with the Violent Faction, and just absolutely murder them with this. If you stack diligently on your baseline, then you're going to get a lot of value out of this. But they have Chromie that is on point damage, and with Varian we're going to see Taunt on level 4, so there's multiple things how you can play that out. Varian Taunt into Juju. A Varian Taunt can go straight into a Malfurion Root, to say one example. Rexa can come in with a stun as well. Chromie will provide the damage. Even a zombie wall from Nazeebo is absolutely possible with some follow-up damage from him too. So there's a couple of ways of how they can actually play this, and I'm really interested to see how this is going to pan out in the long run. So we'll see. At this point, the rotation between of the 4-man is already there. Bot lane as expected. Copenhagen going up against Max Passion. Misha is going to play a huge role also to scout some of these things out. In this case, what you... Ooh, there's already whip into a wall. Alright. That's the damage. In this case, what you also want to make sure of is that your Witch Doctor is able to get as many of those stacks as possible. So that's one of the reasons why other heroes are not doing too much damage here just now, and already rotate to prepare this a little bit at the top. It's highly important that you help Nazeebo to stack. It's a little bit of a similar process of what you're trying to do with Asmodan. If someone else just steals the entire time the minions away, and you don't get any stacks together at all, then you're going to have a tough time no matter how long the game lasts. But if you help a hero like Nazeebo, like Asmodan, I mean, on this level, Asmodan is not going to see play, but if you play, I don't know, quick match or whatever, you play with a couple of friends, help those heroes out. It is going to pay dividends very, very quickly the stronger they become. And especially with the Thing of the Deep now on level 1, you get the additional spell power after 50, then you get even more damage after 100 stacks. So there's a lot of real good arguments to be made for making that play. And your level 4 talent is obviously going to boost that too. So that's another advantage that you have with it. But, well, let's have a bit of a look at that. Currently, Max Passion still at the bot lane, trying to get the drain through. There's the level 4 abilities right now. Taunt obviously instantly taken. Nice attempt. That would have been a nice one. Tai trying to use the opportunity. Ooh, Leo down at the bot lane. Yeah, Lauber gets the taunt through against him. And that's exactly the value. And now if you get kills on the offlane like this as Leo falls, that means that gems are lost. And especially for offlane heroes, that is doubly true. Now we have Big Voodoo on level 4. So again, Nazeebo heavily capitalizing on all the stacks that he can get. But this is exactly what you want to do with Varian. You want to just roam around and you want to try and get kills and set something up for your team. That's where burst damage is important. That's where Chromie plays a role. If you have a Jaina, if you have Li Ming with that setup, then you can do a whole lot of work there. And that's something that they need to try and make happen. And if you actually play the hero yourself, this is the way you want to go with it. Every single time you play Smash or you play Meme Blades, you're pretty much just saying like, hey, I really hope that my opponents are shit. That's pretty much the statement you make whenever you pick these talents. So you should always try and aim to become a better player, and that's where you look at what the top players do. Obviously, there's a certain synergy element that definitely plays a role there. And you won't see the same kind of coordination in Storm League or make it worse, quick match that you see on a higher level play, but this is what you should always aim for. Another setup here that actually gives Nazeebo a little bit of an added damage output and sets it up for Chromie to drop the damage too. Nazeebo is currently stacking nicely. We're only on level 6, 3.5 minutes in, and he already has 660 stacks. But you can see how the entire team plays around it. Like, they all wait for Nazeebo to start attacking, and then they start to finish those minions off. So the entire team is playing around that style right now. and nobody steals minions away from Tai. He makes that rotation happen. It's one of the reasons that, as you can already guess, why they picked the hero here in the first place. Because he can rotate between two lanes, which means that he is going to get sick value on his level 1. Goes into the Dead Rush, which these days comes pretty much as a given together with this. Bottom of the map, still pressure against Max Passion, and I mean, there's still the objective to consider, of course, too. So he's currently trying to set this up as well. 83 stacks now. And, well, with 83 stacks, I mean, already he's at 2,900 hit points. Garrosh has 2,700, just to give you a bit of an idea. So, once that we have level 16 coming in, that's gonna change even a little bit more for him, but there's a lot of that. Garrosh might not be the best example here, granted, but we don't have a lot of high hit point heroes in this game. If you compare it to Varian, Varian's sitting at 3,900, so he's definitely still taking charge here. But as the game progresses, there's a good chance that Nazeebo is even gonna outshine him. Laubers is in trouble though. Yeah, he gets the taunt through quickly, and oh, that's actually a nice setup for Chromie, and she gets some very serious damage connected. But there it is, 100 at 5 minutes. 5 minutes into this, Nazeebo is actually done with his level 1 quest. That's 10% additional spell power that he has now. Yeah, 100 already. At level 8, I might add. And how is it possible? Because the team helped him and he rotated between two lanes. And that's exactly what you try to do whenever you play with Nazeebo. And if you ever end up with a Nazeebo in a public game, try and help him. If he knows what he's doing, he's going to aim for that. And right now, 2 kills against 0 and the Webweavers coming in, you can already tell that for the Vikings, they're being put on a timer here. If you play against heroes like Azmodan and Nazeebo on this map, then you know you have to do work in the early stages or at least in the mid game. Back in the days, before HGC, Azmodan was actually a meta pick on this map for this exact reason. You could stack with Azmodan Johanna beautifully between mid and top lane. And teams that went up against Azmodan, they knew if the game goes late, they lose. So what they needed to do is to really, really pressure in the early and mid game to take down at least the forts, but the goal was to take keeps, so that there was continuous pressure against Azmodan. And the setup is the same. The idea behind it is the same. It's the late game when Nazeebo really shines, where a lot of these heroes are going to absolutely excel. So for the Vikings, it's highly important that around level 10 at least now, they are starting to, well, at least come back into this and do work. And if they fail to do that, then this game is going to get out of hand quickly. Very, very quickly. I mean, right now, you can already tell that with 120 stacks on Nazeebo, he's going to murder here. But that's a good kill if they get it. Yes, they do. Chromie down, and Malfurion is dead too. And they're looking for more. They have the Horrify, and it seems like Lauber is going to get dropped as well. And that's 15 gems down the drain. That's actually a lot of gems down the drain. So this is exactly what's needed here. Nice setup. The Vikings being a bit more aggressive, starting to turn things around. 3 kills against 2 now, and all of a sudden with level 10 abilities they have a chance here. And Oriel has actually not made a move yet. Oriel can go into Resurrect here, which is obviously very meta at this point, but Aegis is too if you feel that you have to, for example, dodge out on some Chromie damage. I mean, let's face it, if there's any setup with a good taunt later on, you can easily prevent that kill with Aegis, but it's not really a positive cooldown trade for you. So that's a problem. And in we go. That's the setup right there. Also, level 10 important. Shield Walled. Yes, that's a talent to aim for on Varian here. At least if they're not meeting. They have the fort at the bot lane. Blue team is pressuring, guys. Resurrect is in. This is the setup that you need to go for. They know what's at stake here. If they want to come into Game 5, if they want to have a chance to win the series after all, then this is the way to go. This is the moves that you have to make. There's the taunt straight in, and Lauber, oh, he makes it out, baby. Oh my god. Whipped into the wall by Oriel. Yeah, that was unfortunate. That kind of saved him more than it did any harm to him. But they lost the fort at the bot lane. The one in the middle has taken severe damage, and now at the bottom of the map, they're already sitting tight with Copenhagen. We take a quick look at Nazeebo, and what do we see? 150 stacks for him. 150 stacks. Yeah. He is starting to really, really murder that. But they're only on level 12. They need to make it to 20 at least. I mean, ideally, of course, you really want to get some more momentum going, not only bank your hopes on Nazeebo hitting 20. That's obviously a play that has been made in the past quite a lot, but in an ideal world, you want to get the value on folded already before that and then really push the opponent. And there we go, a bit of damage, nice. Good zombie wall as well, easy damage, and he might die. Yeah, they push him back in, and that's a kill. Oh, the Horrify! Oh my god, what? Oh, beautiful. But the boars get unleashed. Lauber, another taunt, this time against Greymane. He gets out. Kopak, the kill, Gia, with the double kill. Oh god, that turned quickly. That looked so good for them, and now they lost 3 heroes. Nazebo is still stacking, but they just lost 4. That's a disaster. The Vikings have not only lost a massive amount of gems, they also lost all control that they had. Now they really have to bank their hopes on Tai. I mean, again, the 175 is not a problem for him. He's 170 already, has 70 already. But now they are suffering. 7 kills against 2. Boss is obviously now taken by the blue team. Oh, they were a little bit too greedy there. Honestly, it looked like Lauber would get the kill against Garrosh for sure. And then the Horrify for Market just isolated Lauber from everybody else. And they got the kill in. And now, yeah, now things are going to become difficult. Alright, Svamgroda gets attacked, can go for the timeout, but the taunt is in, and the mace to the face seals the fate of Chromie once again. She gets slapped around a little bit. And with that, we have the Chrome Star down, and the Web Weavers are coming, and so is the boss. There's a kill against Gul'dan. Oh, that was good. That was nice, but he gets resurrected as well. That's a problem. They try to make the play against Leo at least, but the problem is that the top keep is now getting attacked any second. The bottom is also getting dropped. Well, they actually want to have more of a kill there. Somehow they have to deal with this, unless they're just saying, okay, top keep is screwed anyways. But it doesn't really feel like they're going to make that statement. Rexa is dead now too. Guys, the blue team is just murdering this. They're just absolutely spiraling this out of control. This is getting bonkers. The Zebo might never make it into a position where he can actually capitalize on all that stacking that's going on there. He's nearly sitting at 200, but they've just lost through those last 2 team fights all resemblance of cohesion here. It's insane. It's honestly insane. Yeah, there's the attack, and the kill again against Malfurion. Can they get the counter kill? It's unbe-fucking-lievable. How does Garrosh survive the entire time? It is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Top keep is still in play, and at the ball in the middle they're losing it. Yeah, that keep is over. Can they get... They need more kills. They need them, and they need them now. Okay, they get Greymane. That's at least one stop towards it. One step towards the goal. But they lost the keep, and... Oh, God, they haven't killed a fort yet. Fantastic for-field the Vikings, of course. For the Vikings, this is exactly what they need. They're 4 stacks away from completing the quest on Gul'dan, but now it's 16 versus 16. It comes down to a turn-in. Svamgroda, there's the timeout. And there's the Entomb, and this is again a problem. Svamgroda is about to die. The Horrify is there. They get the kill at least against Gul'dan. Tai is killing them with the Ravenous Spirit at least. And they could get the kill against Max Passion too. That should be a kill, honestly. Oh, spiders! And goodbye. Yeah, but the quest is completed also for Rexa. Can they turn in? They have 60 gems. Gems are the ticket back into the game, no matter where you are. 200 stacks now on Tai. Tai is sitting at 5,200 hit points right now. 5,500 from Varian, so he's pretty much acting as a second tank at this point. If you compare him to Rexa, Rexa is sitting at 3,500. Misha is sitting at 3,500, of course, as well. So off we go. They get the Web Weavers. That top keep is not gonna fall against that, especially since Rexa is rotating in. But if they honestly want to make a comeback happen here, they need to get structures destroyed. They need to at least get some kind of lane pressure for themselves here. It would be insane if they can actually make it happen. Okay. It seems impossible for them to come back, I'm gonna be honest here. Even though the kill counts, I mean, it's not really that big of a lead. It's 11 against 7. That's not that insane. But the way those kills have been accumulated and what have followed afterwards, that's the problem. Now they take the fountain down in the middle, but the Web Weaver is immediately destroyed. And, well, as you can tell, this is just not looking any better. They're going for Lauber, and Lauber is dead. But at least Garrosh is getting killed too. Okay. There's the Entomb again. Okay, Ice Block already getting used. They're trying to find around it. If Nazeebo dies, well, there's no if to it. Nazeebo dies, Web Weaver gets at least some value at the top, but I think this could be game. Gia, careful, bro. Chromie. And she gets it. Alright, Chromie gets the kill against Greymane, but Rexa is dead too, and now Chromie is just trying to buy a bit of time for the rest of the team to come back because she's the only survivor. Scratch that. 5-man team white, baby! Is that game? They have 4 heroes alive, and they're moving into the middle already. Up at the top, Forda has fallen. This is gonna do some damage to the keep too. Can they end? I'm not so sure. They have level 20, but the timer, I mean, Varian is back, and all he needs to do is to really just slow them down a bit. Nazeebo is back in 7 seconds. They might be able to end this after all. He's trying to go for the taunt. If he can kill Maka. Nah, he can't. Oh, no. But he bought time, and that was the goal. He needed to buy time, and he just bought time. And Tai is back. Guys, they can't end. And the guys, keep has fallen. The keep has fallen. They tried to end, and they couldn't. Are the Vikings... I mean, I don't want to jinx anything here, but the Vikings are in the spot where they need to be super careful now. Boss gets attacked topside. They should be able to get this, and that means keep. They lost game 1 in a fashion where it was honestly unbelievable. Not for a second did I think that they could really lose that game, but they did. Is this losable? Can you lose this? Boss is taken. That's a 15-minute boss. The keep will fall. Core is the objective. It's a 5 versus 5 with a level 20 advantage for the Vikings. So they go for the second move. Ooh, this will be wild. If 20 hits for Nazeebo, it's a different story. So they probably want to end with this one. They should try and end with this one. If 20 for Nazeebo hits, it's a totally different game. But can this boss end the game? There's the Entomb. There's the Buried Alive. They're making the play immediately. If that's a kill, both of them. Oh, they dodge out the taunt. Oh, boss is on the core though. And that's the kill against Nazeebo. Nazeebo is down and that's pretty much their hopes shattered. Or is it? Gul'dan is also dead. Damage dealers are gone. Leo. Guys, they might actually defend this. Leo is dead. Greymane. Nah, it's too much damage, isn't it? Gul'dan has been revived by Oriel. They lock him down again, but this is game. This is it. Yes, game 5, baby. The Vikings bring it to the final map. Nicely done. GG on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Game 5. All direct pass. We are in. We in, boys. Okay, we're going the full distance today. An epic series for sure. Fantastic so far. And on the last map even, I mean, you can't really blame the fan club for trying to greed for that Garrosh kill. He looked several times. I honestly thought there was no way he gets out of there. Like, no way whatsoever. So they went in deep for the kill. They went in a little bit too deep, and they made that mistake. I mean, hindsight is always 20/20, right? But they made those mistakes of forcing fights twice in the game, and both times they lost 3 to 4 heroes, and that of course accelerated the game against them and allowed the Vikings to go for keeps and to also go, in addition to that, even for bosses and, yeah, just crush the map. If they would have just delayed the game a little bit and not played that aggressive, then very likely the fan club would have made it to 20 in time to have Nazeebo really crush through them with a Violent Infection. That didn't happen though. And the Vikings played it exactly the way that they need to. They took the fights that they needed, and yeah. So now we have Li Ming banned out on Alterac. It's a big map, of course, so that we could see Laubers again. Deathwing gets traditionally banned out. It's also another map where Tai might play Zeratul if the hero doesn't get banned. And I kind of think that right now, there's a very, very good chance that the Zeratul ban comes in again. Also, the Panda gets immediately banned. No Panda time this time. Okay. Can't Panda to Peter. There's a Zeratul ban. It's a little bit unfortunate for us. I would have loved to see it. Theoretically, Abathar is also playable on the map, of course. Which gives us options like you could go with Abathar plus Kerosene again, Greymanes, few others. I don't really think that is going to happen, but it's a possibility that you can never just like neglect, because it's an option on the map as big as this one. But the first thing that happens is the Junkrat that gets locked down. There's also Dehaka and Falster to consider, since it's a big map, you're talking globals. That obviously puts ETC with Stage Dive on the table as well. So all heroes that you have to kind of keep in mind a bit when you're thinking about all of this. Ah, but we immediately see the Vala pick together with Oriel. So Make already saying, boys, I got this. I got this. Give me Vala, and we're going to play around that. Okay. How does the fan club react? Still need something for Ty, of course. Mage is totally fine here. Kind of sad that we didn't see a Tracer game yet. Would have been fun to see that. Yeah, Graven would be a good one here too. Mal'Ganis and Rhaegar. Yeah, map 5, don't want to risk anything here. So Lauber leans back on his Mal'Ganis. Now with the bans, offlaners get banned. It's interesting that we didn't see a single global taken yet, so not even ETC. And with Vala, that could still happen. So I would actually not be surprised if the fan club just bans out ETC. There's other heroes here to consider too. As I said, like a Backhold in particular, of course, loves to play as Johanna if he gets the chance to. There's also other heroes that would work with this, like, for example, even Tyrael. I mean, he loves to play Tyrael. So all of those could get banned out here, but ETC has the advantage of creating the space for Vala that she oftentimes needs, and also get the power slide in for a little bit of a lockdown. And the safer you can keep Vala, the better for you. So that's always a potential problem that you have to face if you go up against, let's say, a hypercarry composition. There's the Yarosh ban though. And again, this is map 5. I mean, it's getting dicey right now. Okay. I'm really curious. I'm really curious to see what they especially pick. And yes, there's a Tyrael pick. There you go. Tyrael gets taken. Leo together with that. Fair. And Gia hasn't picked a hero yet. Whereas on the other side for the fan club now, of course, this is the moment of truth. What is Ty going to get? What are we going to get on the offlane? Are we seeing a global? Is there a Falster or a Dehaka that we're going to get now? It's a big map. You can play through those. Well... we've seen so many globals now again. Samuro and Falstad. Alright, Samuro and Falstad both get taken. I didn't even have Samuro on the plan here for them. Obviously, a hero that we've seen previously and that excels on big maps too. Depends always a bit on how you play it, but yeah, that's a nice touch. And the last pick for Gia. Now there's an option to at least get something that has a global into the game. But what's the last pick here before we head into game number 5? It is... Uther. Double support Uther now though. Not side lane, front line Uther, any kind of those shenanigans. This is actually a traditional old school 2016, 2017 double frontline, double support Vala pick with a hyper carry setup. And Uther obviously also provides the stun. So guys, game 5, off we go. Let's see who wins this series. Let's not waste any further time. Aldrich past the 5th map. Game number 5, it is on, ladies. The final map in this series. Make on Vala, Skog on Uther. We have Backhold on Tyrael, Max Passion on Leoric, Gia on Oriel, and over to the red team side. Lauber playing Mal'Ganis right now, finally getting his Mal'Ganis in this series. We have Svamgrotta on Junkrat, so he's going to provide a ton of the wave clear that we're going to see in this game, and also, which is to an extent even more important, a lot of poke that helps you when your opponent is trying to make the play for the objective in the prisoner camp and is looking at the channel. So Junkrat has an easy time to interrupt all of that and will use that as best as he can. Then we have Falstad, which is obviously highly important right now, since with Falstad in play you have that global. So once that the map opens up with his pick on Boomerang on level 7, we're going to see him just push out these lanes and try to get value. If then together with Copenhagen on Samuro you can open up some of those lanes by dropping forts and keeps, then all of a sudden you can really push a lot of macro pressure onto an opponent that is very heavily focused with that composition on team fights. So from a tool perspective, the fan club has a couple of additional ways that they can play this right now, and that is going to make all of this pretty interesting, especially in a late game scenario where the map has been opened up by forts that get destroyed. Then again, we have Rhaegar currently playing Henning here. So that's also another important one, because that already means that we are in a setup where he can go for the camps and help them out here. Because let's not forget, bosses are going to become quite important here as well. Riding into the battle in style on the money pick, of course. When it comes to talents, we haven't really seen a whole lot taken yet, but one of the things that is definitely noteworthy is that with Vala, we're going to get, in this case, the multi-shot build. So we have seen previously also a few approaches more so into an arrow build on Vala, which is obviously incredibly dominant on Battlefield of Eternity when she is being able to play there. But in this case, it's going to be a traditional multi-shot setup. There, even with Hot Pursuit on 1, there is not going to be Creed of the Hunter, a pretty meh talent, to say the least, to be taken in any kind of competitive setup, so that's not going to happen. But what's going to be interesting throughout the entire series is definitely how Samuro is going to impact the entire game, because he's a little bit on and off lately, especially after the well, I don't want to call it rework, but the changes. Way of the Blade on level 1. We also have the Seasoned Marksman on level 1 for Falstad, so it's more of an auto attack style against this melee heavy setup with Uther, Tyrael and Leoric that are taken on the other side. So still the side lane value with Boomerang, which we're going to see. Ossen's Renewal on Leo is also in. And it's a big map. I think it's going to be probably off to a bit of a slower start than what we've seen thus far. Usually when it comes to pressure and damage at the... Oh, well, so much for a slow start. It was only one push. No, but normally we're seeing the objective most of fought over around level 7. Until then, I honestly just expect teams to look to see if we can maybe isolate someone on a lane. If Falstad can at some point fly in, get a bit of extra damage in, or how exactly they play it. But for the time being here, I don't really expect too many fireworks here. Yeah, Uther is taking that side lane at the top, so they're very likely going to play with Leo at the bottom of the map. And they're actually 4-manning it for now. If they plan on having a proper 4-man here, I would be very surprised if Uther would make that. Like, it's weird to not have the second support in the 4-man in this Deadly Oryx. That's a bit strange, but he provides the slows. So that's something. It was a nice move also from Junkrat to try and push Oriel on the other side of the gate. If that's a successful play, then, well, that's first blood right there. But not quite. Yeah, any kind of, like, hyper carry setup with double support is always quite dangerous. Tai talking about dangerous and 50% HP up at the top, and Uther moves in. That's an issue. And now Pax Passion moves in too. Yeah, that would have been a mad problem, but here it is. That's more so the setup that I was actually waiting for. Uther trying to join the Vala composition. Makes way more sense at this point. Camps are of course taken. That's the early focus usually on all direct paths that we see. The 4 talents are still a little bit off, so it's just about camps, camp clear. And at the bottom of the map, still now this situation with Uther trying to take the control here. And the 3-man in the middle has to deal with those nulls, of course. And Samuro, again, he's going to be quite interesting as the game continues. How much can Copenhagen actually do here? There's also a huge amount of sustain if you think about it. I mean, Resurrect alone on Oriel is just a nuisance. If you want to be super annoying, you go Divine Shield. Sanctification and shields from Tyrael are obviously a problem too. Uther is very likely going to go for the stun here, of course, and add the additional utility here. I would be surprised to see Divine Shield. But just imagine for just a second, when you have shields and sanctification from Tyrael, Resurrect from Oriel, heals from Uther, Divine Shield from Uther. I mean, killing anybody is going to be absolutely obnoxious. Falstad has actually shifted back onto the Uther lane, and has now also hammer gains on level 4, so it gives him more lane sustain. And Uther is starting to struggle there a little bit more. In order for him to get damage through, he pretty much needs to walk up and set the stun in. Up here at the top. Our setup is also still working out with level 4 talent now, Mirage, coming in. And there's the objective. So as I said before, normally when it comes to the objective on all direct paths, it's all delayed until level 7. That's where you see the real plays being made. People want to have their level 7 talent, they don't want their opponent to get it first. Always a little bit weary about that. So this is the opportunities that they're going to wait for. Multi-shot build has started. First camp is taken again. Over here it's another second, so it's back to business now too and could be claimed. And Falstad is making his way down to the bottom of the map. Is even flying in, which is honestly a little bit of a surprise. So to say, wasting the global here wasn't really a need for that for Tai. He could have definitely just like walked over. He's not doing too much there. And this wouldn't have lost anything anyways, or very little. But mid lane, oh boy. They're losing a lot here. This camp is taken late, and the fan club, as I highlighted on the minimap, was taking their own camp incredibly quickly after it respawns. Now, even with the level 7 talent advantage, you can already say that this is a pretty big hit against the Vikings. If the objective is now lost and the Raiders make it in, you're gonna see that fort fall. Level 7 talents with the crushing blows on also Boomerang on Falstad. Okay. Level 7 in for both, which means that we should actually soon see teams making plays for the new Prisoner camp. 0 kills so far, as expected. It is the slow start in the game that we expected here. And you can't really fault the teams either after ending up in game number 5 with like incredible play on 4 maps and like continuous back and forth simply. Obviously there's going to be a little bit of a slower setup right now. Okay. And, well, there we go. Top lane, Leo has taken some damage against Samuro. 10 stacks on Falstad, not really a whole lot for him. Didn't really get a lot of chance to stack anything here, so it's a bit of a problem. It's not bad, don't get me wrong. He's not setting any records yet. Yeah, Falstad. He needs to deal with that Uther, and Skog is actually doing a fairly decent job of preventing him from stacking too easily and getting that boomerang value. And the 3-man in the middle is still pressuring, and thanks to the shields and the continuous heals, Make is able to get, like, attack after attack after attack through. I mean, look at Vala. Vala is 4,000 damage above Junkrat right now, and is just continuously busying herself taking these structures down. So the pressure that comes from the Vikings is actually pretty annoying, especially since they now took the fountain down too. And that is something that has actually not been done by the Vikings earlier. So from a structural perspective, it's actually the Vikings that take the lead, even after the initial good push that we saw from the fan club in the mid lane. And we are at 5 minutes, 6 minutes in, and then nobody actually goes for the prisoner camp. Nobody cares. Instead, it's all about the camps here. They're taken time and time again. Top side, Max Passion in trouble. Copenhagen is starting to push this farther out as the game continues. And now level 10 abilities are just about to hit. Yep, so that's a big one. Right now, that's the Divine Storm. Okay, all the talents as you would expect. No surprises. Now it comes down to Samuro. Okay, Illusion Master for him. And yeah, no surprise there either. Mighty Gust, Divine Storm on Uther as expected. And everybody just like playing this out slowly. But now, of course, the stakes are raised. Now you have a lot more that you can actually go for. Ooh, nice Wasp. Good cleanse too, though, from Grotta in no trouble. Mal'Ganis helping out here. Leo comes in, so does Samuro slowly. Falstad could actually fly in if he needs to. Is thinking about it and hits it. And we still have with the... Actually, the Gust is in to save them. They go for Max Passion, and that's the first blood right there.
First blood.
Leo goes down, and top side Samuro still gets value. And nobody is actually sitting at the top right now. Leo is now making his way over, but he loses at least a little bit of experience. And the team in red can theoretically try to see if they can maybe push this farther forward. But Leo has, of course, the added advantage of respawning on the map. Doesn't have travel time. That really helps. That helps a lot. At least up to the point where the death timers are a little bit higher. Right now, it's not a problem. And here we go. Shattering teeth the entire time. 20 stacks for Falstad. Oh, the Entomb misses! Yeah, but Falstad has more freedom now at the bottom of the map. He pushes this out easily, and those are easy stacks for him to acquire on his auto attacks. And once that he gets all of that set up, it's obviously pretty good for him too. Okay, get some easy damage against Skog. Tries to look for the experience. Nicely done. But it's a weird game. I mean, I've never really seen a game on this map where the objective was by both teams delayed for this long. But they are just waiting for the late game setup. And it starts scaling and scaling and scaling. And they're always focusing on their own camp in the middle of the map as quickly as they can. As this is where the teams are shifting their focus on. But so far the blue team is winning that battle. They've already dropped this down to 50% HP. Late game Samuro, on the other hand, is an absolute pest. So I'm not quite sure if I really would like to go up against that. And the stacks on Falstad are not gonna get less by any means either. So that's another problem. And it will be really, really interesting to see how this is going to pan out if the game just continues through that mid lane pressure up to a point where we reach the late game with level 13, level 16, and the teams then finally decide that it's time to scale on the objective and really get some actual value on it. So this is very, very weird. Let's see. I mean, right now, as you can see, that's currently level 13 talents. That gives us Gloom. There's already the Giant Killer. Again, Falstad is getting there, as I said. Also brings us the Mirrored Steel. Cooldown reduction is always amazing, no matter when it comes in. And Falstad is still doing his thing. 1 kill, 13 talents. Look how careful these guys all are. This is gonna be a really long game if that continues this way. Normally we see a lot more aggression, but obviously both of them want to win the series. I went over it earlier. The fan club hasn't lost yet. The fan club is in a position where they want to be at the top of the standings together with Washed Up, whereas the Vikings have already lost quite a few series in this season. And the one series that they were able to lock down was against Pepe Milady. If they can secure a victory against the fan club, that would be insane for their standings. It would be great. It would help them so much. And they are obviously also playing safe because they are in a spot where they already argue, guys, why are we even here? We should have won map number 1. We could have won map number 2. And now all of a sudden, well, actually they did win map number 2. They could have won the other one that they lost. Actually, at this point I don't even know the order of the games anymore. It was like too much craziness. There's a lockdown against Mal'Ganis and there could be a kill, but the Ancestral is there. So yeah, the Vikings, they want to win this. They worked hard for it. The stun gets through, Sanctification, but Uther is dead. And that's an important kill. Where's the Resurrect when you need it? Aurel, she doesn't like the second support. Alright. Could go for it. And 20 seconds. It's still low. Could save it also for Vala, but nope, there we have it. Uther gets resurrected. Falstad is pushing the bot lane. Nice. Gets the fountain. That was important. Nobody's still going for the objective. Nobody playing around it. Up at the top, Samura is hitting harder and harder and harder. And off we go. 2 kills against 0. And the lead in experience now. They're starting to get ahead, ladies. This is very different from what we've seen so far. Very strategic, very tactical game. 38,000 damage for Vala. The Bird on 21k. But Samuro on 32,000 right now. And the camp's taken again, but this time they move to the bottom. They're switching it up a little bit. They're trying to go for Uther again, and Uther's dead. Uther's dead. That's the 3rd kill now, and that's level 16 talents. They're starting to take the lead here. They all of a sudden take the advantage against them. But again, we've seen so many insane comebacks in this series, you can't predict anything anymore. There is the lead now for the fan club, and they're playing this incredibly disciplined, which is definitely worth a lot. But if you consider how game number 1 went, and some of the other games that we've seen there too, you already know that this is a single fight that you need in one good setup, and all of a sudden it's a completely different ballgame. 32 stacks now on Falstad as he's closing in slowly but steadily onto his quest completion on level 1. Manticore for Vala. Top side. Uh-oh, Max Passion. Okay, he gets the globe. That was important. Used us in his renewal as well. Oh, nice Entomb. Didn't really do a whole lot against Samura here, but nice nonetheless. That definitely put a bit of a stop there to the ambitions of Samura for just a second and pumped adrenaline through his veins. That fort at the bottom of the map though, that is starting to really suffer. Yeah, it's the power of a global. Falstad is doing well here. And is always flying into the middle when need be. Oh, okay. Alright. There we have it. The play for boss. Under vision of Falstad pretty much. Yep, they see it, they move in, and they have Mighty Gust. What a ballsy play by the Vikings. They put it all out there. They're just saying, let's go, boys. And I'm not quite sure if they can make that happen. That was an early Gust. They still have Junkrat, of course, to control all of this. But the Gust is in, Sanctification, Ancestral, and they steal it. No, they don't. The Vikings! The Vikings grab it and they get a kill. They get the double kill. Oh my fucking god. Triple kill. The Vikings with a triple kill. Guys, this is crazy. They took the boss right underneath the vision of their opponent. Then they had the Sanctification on the ground, and now they go for the objective too. The triple kill, it was absolutely perfect. The Gust was a little bit too quick. There's obviously still an interplay between Gust, between the Sanctification, and between the other tools that they have. But holy hell. Now they are ahead in experience, and the entire game has flipped. The fort at the bot lane is already done. They go for the objective. They nearly get the fort in the middle. The bot lane is aggressively pushing. The boss is in there. The objective is going to be taken. Laubers fan club, they had the discipline in the earlier stages of the game to secure themselves, I think it was 3 kills. And now it's the exact opposite. I mean, just look at this. The game has completely been turned on its head. The boss is already putting the damage on the keep at the bottom of the map. And now they're pushing in even harder, and the cavalry is coming. The cavalry is already coming. And I can't believe that they made all of this happen just in plain vision of their opponent. They just said like, yeah, we don't care. It's like, what you gonna do? Show us what you got. Let's go. Let's go for a measuring contest. And yeah, it seems like we have the bigger one. Sorry, not sure what to tell you. There's the keep, about to be obliterated. Keep goes down, and now they can move straight into the middle. There's another fort that is destroyed. Guys, they're everywhere. Look at Max Passion. The Gust saves them for now after Entomb lockdown 3. And here comes the play. Of course, the core is not going to fall against all of this, but there's the stun, and even the Ancestral can't keep the doggy alive. What a turn. What a momentum switch. Oh my god. Core is, of course, losing hit points. But it's not going to fall here. Yeah, they're still trying to go for Uther. There's another stun into the wall. Melganis is dead again. Melganis is dead. That core, by the way, is still taking damage. Guys, they need to be careful. They're crushing this. They're absolutely crushing this. They're going for it like hot butter through cheese. They're going for it. They have level 20. Is this really happening? Is this really happening? Is the fan club losing here? You have to finish or it's going to come back. Falstad is down. There's 2 armor shields still on the core. Samuro is dead too, and this is game. It's under-fucking-believable. The Vikings actually did it. A 3-2 victory and a well-deserved one at that. GG and well played as the Vikings lock in the W.